home or business revenue. If you'd love to explore how to check out adding revenue to your home or business, just go to incomestore.com. That's incomestore.com.
What's happening? What does it mean? Why is it important? We've got the answer. AM 560, The Answer. WIND, Chicago.
A witch hunt. Presidential harassment. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. After President Trump tweets about the formal impeachment inquiry, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi says he must be held accountable.
Betrayal of our national security and betrayal of the integrity of our elections.
At least 180 House Democrats support impeachment. Bill Weld agrees with them. He's one of the 3 Republicans challenging President Trump for the 2020 nomination.
I think the Ukraine caper by the president is some combination of treason, bribery, and other high crimes and misdemeanors.
Weld from a BusinessInsider.com online debate with fellow challenger Joe Walsh. President Trump's accused in that July phone call with Ukraine's leader of threatening to withhold military aid unless Ukraine investigates Joe Biden and his son's business dealings. Now, the president insists he did not do that and will release the transcript today.
A senior administration official tells Fox News the White House will also be releasing a document showing that the Inspector General of the intelligence community found the whistleblower who filed the complaint regarding that phone call had political bias in favor of a rival candidate of President Trump. Regarding the transcript of the July phone call, the senior administration official told Fox News there is no smoking gun, but there are a few words in it that will raise eyebrows.
Fox's Garrett Tenney, the whistleblower, wants to talk. That's what House Intel Committee Chair Democrat Adam Schiff says, hoping to get testimony this week. Now, tomorrow, the acting director of national intelligence will be questioned at a hearing. In Massachusetts, the governor has put a 4-month temporary ban on all sales of vaping-related products in that state.
All devices, all non-flavored and flavored vaping products, including mint and menthol, and all THC or marijuana vaping products in the Commonwealth.
That's Governor Charlie Baker. This after an outbreak of illnesses related to vaping. 9 people have died. The vaping industry blames black market products. America's listening to Fox News.
In Chicago, 66 degrees. We've had some light rain showers through the early morning. 5:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. State Senator Marty Sandoval is in the spotlight again after federal agents raided his offices in Springfield and Cicero and his home on Chicago's southwest side. The raids happened yesterday, part of an FBI criminal investigation. The Tribune says investigators are looking into allegations the Democrat used his official position to steer business to at least one company in exchange for kickbacks. No criminal charges have been filed as of yet. University of Chicago Medical Center nurses are scheduled to return to work today following their first ever strike. But it may not be the end. The man was hospitalized after the woman shot him last night in the 2200 block of East 93rd. That woman then barricaded herself inside of a nearby home. The standoff ended around 5 hours later when SWAT teams entered the home early this morning and found the woman dead of an apparent self-inflicted gunshot wound. Democrat hopeful Bernie Sanders siding with the Chicago Teachers Union, he says, in the fight for a new contract.
Negotiate a good faith contract that is just, that is fair, that treats the teachers and staff in this city with the respect and dignity that they deserve.
The senator from Vermont called on city officials to sit down with the union. Sanders discussing some of the CTU's specific demands, smaller class size, one of them. An Army veteran who was deported to Mexico is back in Chicago. Miguel Perez Jr. is being allowed back in the city just for 2 weeks to attend a hearing on whether he can become a U.S. citizen. He was deported last year after his citizenship application was denied because of a major 2010 drug conviction that sent him to prison for 7.5 years. Governor J.B. Pritzker granted Perez clemency for the conviction last month. 5:05 on AM 560. And in other news, Arlington International Racecourse will have horse racing next year. The Illinois Racing Board voting unanimously yesterday to allow horse racing at the Arlington Heights track in spite of the decision by the track's owner not to apply for a casino license for the facility. The Warren High School volleyball number, once worn by a fallen Illinois State Police trooper, Brooke Jones Story, will no longer be used. School's volleyball team retired the number 3 in a ceremony last night between the JV and varsity games. Brooke Jones Story had been a standout Warren volleyball player, winning MVP her junior and senior years. She was killed in the line of duty in March, inspecting a commercial truck along US 20 in Stevenson County. Cubs on the brink of playoff elimination following a 9-2 loss to the Pirates. Jose Ramirez a grand slam. Indians beat the White Sox 11-0 at Guaranteed Rate Field. Blackhawks host the Capitals tonight for their final home game of the preseason. The News is a service of LifeLock with Norton. No one wants to wake up to find they're the victim of identity theft or malware is compromising their smartphone. LifeLock with Norton now includes protection for your identity and devices. Limited time offer. Get 30% off your first year. Ends October 6th. Join at lifelock.com and use promo code RISK. 5:06. We'll have a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager believes the truth may be the answer.
Justin Trudeau has these pictures come out. If he had courage, he would say, I am sorry I did it, but it was not something I was aware of as wrong at the time, nor was it meant with malice. What if he did say that? What would happen? What a refreshing thing, truth from a leftist.
The Dennis Prager Show, weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Hi, this is Amy Jacobson, and just because summer is over doesn't mean it's too late to paint your home. Fall is a great time to check painting off your to-do list. By now, I think I've had my entire home painted by CertaPro painters. They really are the best. You know, CertaPro painters make painting this fall easy and quick. They have more availability, which means you can have your home professionally painted much faster. Cooler weather is arriving, so it is time to think about protecting your home from the elements once again. Have CertaPro painters paint the exterior of your home as well. And with kids going back to school and the family moving back indoors, get excited about cozy nights with a new look from CertaPro painters. Don't put it off. It's time to hire CertaPro painters, your residential and commercial painting experts. Schedule a free estimate online at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C, or call 800-GO-CERTA. Each CertaPro painter's business is independently owned and operated. CertaPro painters, we do painting, you do life.
The Greek philosopher Socrates famously said, "The unexamined life is not worth living." Get ready to step away from the busyness of life at a thought-provoking and entertaining evening, October 8th at the Renaissance Schaumburg Convention Center, when World Leaders Forum presents Caroline Kennedy, a Socrates in the City conversation. Caroline, an author, diplomat, and former U.S. ambassador to Japan, will keynote the 8th World Leaders Forum on October 8th. The discussion will be led by best-selling author and Salem radio host Eric Metaxas, a part of his acclaimed series of conversations designed to have some fun finding the answer to life's biggest questions. World Leaders Forum brings recognized world leaders to the Judson University campus each year to inspire and ignite a flame of leadership for all who attend. Proceeds fund Judson University's leadership scholarships and programs that benefit the higher education of youth in foster care. Tickets for the October 8th event are available now at worldleadersforum.info. That's worldleadersforum.info.
No one wants to wake up to find they're the victim of identity theft or malware is compromising their smartphone. LifeLock with Norton now includes protection for your identity and devices. Limited time offer. Get 30% off your first year. Ends October 6th. Join at lifelock.com. Use promo code RISK.
5:09. Time for a dry basement and a healthy home. It's time to call Perma-Seal, 800-421-SEAL. Check of the roads, AM 560 traffic center time. Here's Jim.
In northwest Indiana this morning, I-65 northbound near Ridge Road. There's a medical emergency. The right lane is blocked there. Southwest side of Chicago, there's a crash near 63rd and Kedzie. We're seeing a bit of a delay on the inbound Eisenhower from Manheim to 17th Avenue. There's some road work in the right lane. It's about a 2-minute delay. The work should be clearing soon. Kennedy's okay. Reversibles should open shortly on the inbound side. So should the exit to Washington. Stevenson looks okay. Some ramp closures are set to lift at Pulaski. Ryan's good. Inbound Mission Ford really stuffed up from the tri-state to 159th. There's work in the 2 left lanes. Traffic's also slow, 111th at the merge. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer starts next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center and our meteorologist, Steve Williams.
A shower or thunderstorm in spots early this morning. It'll be breezy, then intervals of clouds and sun today, high 78. Partly cloudy tonight, low 56. Mostly sunny, nice day tomorrow, the high near 70. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
Currently in Chicago, we have 68 degrees. Your next news update is at 5:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy starts next on AM 560, The Answer.
It's happening. Wherever cupcakes are being frosted, songs are being recorded, and engines are being tuned, ADP is designing a better way to work. With industry-leading HR, talent, time, benefits, and payroll, more companies rely on ADP than any other HR partner. From small business to global enterprise. See how ADP can help you and your people achieve what you're working for at design.adp.com. ADP, always designing for people.
Hey, there's a new type of account takeover attack called lateral phishing.
It's a serious threat. Cyber criminals hijack your email account and use it to launch phishing attacks on your internal and external contacts.
What if they attack us?
Don't worry. We have Barracuda Total Email Protection.
So we're secured?
Completely. With the industry's best layered defense against attacks, including account takeover and phishing.
That's a relief.
Protect your business at Barracuda.com. Barracuda, your journey secured.
Message and data rates may apply. Individual results vary. Exclusions apply.
Contacts and glasses are such a hassle. I'd love to finally get LASIK, but
I'm going to stop you right there. If you want LASIK, then the LASIK Vision Institute has officially taken away everything standing in your way.
Isn't LASIK expensive?
Not at the LASIK Vision Institute. We're offering dramatically low prices and an absolutely free consultation. See for free if LASIK is right for you by texting RADIO to 350-350.
But I'm really busy.
A text only takes seconds, and the LASIK procedure typically only takes 15 minutes. And best of all, most patients can get back to work the following day.
I had no idea.
The LASIK Vision Institute uses the latest FDA-approved LASIK technology that helps the majority of patients achieve 20/20 vision. We've performed over 1.3 million procedures. That's experience you can trust. And we're offering 20% off our already low-cost services.
What's that text again?
Text RADIO to 350-350. That's RADIO to 350-350 to schedule your free consultation today.
When a company is ready to grow, it's important to have the right partner to support that growth. Choose a team backed by 100-plus years of combined experience in the staffing industry and the most trusted staffing service supplier. Choose Unistaff. Unistaff's flexible staffing solutions can help your business fill temporary, temp-to-perm, or direct hire employment and make the hiring process cost-effective and efficient. For temporary placement to handle specialty products requiring specific skill sets, workflow fluctuations, or to save on hire costs, Unistaff has the talent ready to take on the challenge. They can also connect you with their talented associates to provide temporary positions with the potential of full-time placement. And for direct hire, you know finding the right employee can be an unexpected, time-consuming task. Leading corporations partner with Unistaff to gain access to top candidates in a wide spectrum of industries specific to their needs. Focus on growing your business. Call Unistaff to handle the rest. Go to unistaffjobs.com. That's unistaffjobs.com.
Make sure to check out the Income Store live video stream of today's show right now at 560theanswer.com.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So President Trump announced yesterday, the White House announcing that the transcript of his phone call with the Ukrainian president will be released today. This against the backdrop of a lot of action yesterday, a unanimous resolution in the Senate to provide the whistleblower complaint to both the House and Senate Intel committees. So that'll happen this week. In addition to that, of course, the big reveal, at least that's how it was treated by Nancy Pelosi, bowing to pressure from the 80% of her caucus that wants to remove this president from office.
And this week, the president has admitted to asking the president of Ukraine to take actions which would benefit him politically. The actions of the Trump presidency revealed the dishonorable fact of the president's betrayal of his oath of office, betrayal of our national security, and betrayal of the integrity of our elections. Therefore, today, I'm announcing the House of Representatives moving forward with an official impeachment inquiry. I'm directing our 6 committees to proceed with their investigations under that umbrella of impeachment inquiry.
312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. Are you compelled by Nancy Pelosi's announcement?
Don Lemon was last night.
This is a momentous day, to say the least.
And everyone was smiling. All the CNN panelists were they couldn't control themselves, Dan.
Yeah, I
so giddy.
I'm always interested to hear what the cricket has to say or what he offers to someone to smell. But Nancy Pelosi, Joe DiGenova, U.S. attorney, former U.S. attorney for the D.C. Circuit, had this to say on Tucker Carlson. He made an important point about Nancy's pronouncement.
Tall call this an official impeachment inquiry. It is not. The only way you can have an official impeachment inquiry is by a resolution being passed on the floor of the House calling for an important impeachment inquiry and authorizing an investigation. That has not occurred. What she did today was a head fake to placate the nuts on her left.
There's no question that it requires a vote to impanel an impeachment committee, and that hasn't happened. So the House actually has to formally vote. It can't just be a pronouncement by the Speaker. I mean, you heard her say, I direct the 6 committees to continue what they're doing. Oh, well, okay. But the bottom line is this is a political gambit. The process argument that DiGenova makes is a fair point, but it's not the overriding point. The overriding point is that Nancy Pelosi is banking on impeachment to frame the 2020 presidential election.
Right, exactly. They couldn't get him on Russian collusion. They couldn't get him on a list of other, dumb things. Now they're trying. This is their last hope. But Pelosi and the Democrats never even heard or saw a transcript of the phone call before acting. And they want the whistleblower complaint turned over. That's going to happen today. And then transcripts of the phone call are going to happen today. So they're acting before they even see the transcript. That's what's bothering me.
You have people running around saying that President Trump admitted to committing a crime. That's what Judge Napolitano said on Fox with Shep. Joe DiGenova responded to that as well.
Well, I think Judge Napolitano is a fool, and I think what he said today is foolish. No, it is not a crime. Let me underscore emphatically that nothing that the president said on that call or what we think he said on that call.
Whether it was purposeful or serendipitous, this couldn't be working up. Number one, it's sort of doing significant damage to Biden. And number two, if they're as confident as they seem to be, I'm saying they, the White House, the president, about the nature of the conversation as will be memorialized in the transcript to be made public, then aren't they walking the Democrats right into another trap, right into another buzzsaw? No, they're there, a big nothing burger, a big dud like the Mueller investigation. And so then you either have to vote to impeach on flimsy grounds or you have to pass on impeachment, and either way, you're going to look like political hacks. I mean, could this be working out better for the president, even though there is some risk to him as well?
312-642-5600 is our turnkey.pro answer line. 64636, type in DA, then a quick comment. And Dan, too, should President Trump's private conversations with world leaders be made public? Well, or is his back's against the wall this time?
Well, he conceded the point. I mean, to some extent, I know we talked to Jed Babin about this yesterday, and he argued strongly that you don't want to set this precedent because you then damage your ability to have private conversations with other heads of state. It's a legitimate point. Problem is, you had this whistleblower suit that's going to be made available to Congress, and it will necessarily incorporate the specifics of the conversation, so you can't trust that it's not going to come out anyway. You might as well control the process, I suppose. By the way, Mitch McConnell on the well of the Senate yesterday talking about said resolution and the showmanship, to be generous, of his colleague there, Senate Minority Leader Pagliacci.
There's much we do not know about the complaint lodged with the intelligence community's Inspector General, including whether the complaint involves intelligence activities at all. Before the Democratic leader elected to go to the media yesterday, the chairman and vice chair of the Senate Select Committee on Intelligence had already been working together in a bipartisan manner, free from politicization, to get more information from both the acting director of national intelligence and the intelligence community's Inspector General. Given the progress the committee was making, I don't believe this made-for-TV moment was actually necessary. I would have preferred the committee be allowed to do its work in a quiet, methodical manner. It doesn't serve the committee or its goals to litigate its business here on the floor or for the television cameras. Nevertheless, I agree that the DNI should make additional information available to the committee so it can evaluate the complaint consistent with the statute and other procedures that exist to safeguard classified and sensitive information. I also want to express my appreciation for President Trump's announcement that the White House will release tomorrow the complete, fully declassified, and unredacted transcript of his phone conversation with President Zelensky. I hope this will help refocus the conversation away from breathless speculation and back toward the facts.
Bert in Lake Zurich, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, Dan and Amy. I was just wondering, it would be interesting if the whistleblower ends up being Donald Trump Jr., because basically this whole fiasco ends up drawing Pelosi into this impeachment fiasco, which she knows politically is a loser for her. It drives moderates out of the party, and if you thought the Trump base was energized now, this whole thing is just going to add plutonium to the support for it. Thank you for taking my call.
Well, if it's any family member, it's got to be Barron.
Yeah, Barron.
Barron, he's the sleeper cell there. You know,
he pulls all the strings,
Yeah.
basically. There's no question. Tony in Plainfield.
Hi, thanks for taking my call. This is where the Democrats were going anyway. No matter what they tried to throw at Trump, they couldn't get enough juice to form an impeachment inquiry or at least start that discussion. And the clock is ticking. We're getting closer to the primary. They've got to do something to hang on the president. So I don't feel there's a big risk for Trump in any way with him releasing the transcripts in its entirety. I think it's going to blow up in the Democrats' face.
Thanks for the call, Tony. And President Trump agrees with you. His response to Nancy Pelosi's announcement yesterday was a little video that was hastily put together or was prepared and waiting. One of the two. It's a montage of all the Democrats over all the many months of the Trump administration with a sole focus, the title of the ad.
For you, do you personally think impeachment should be considered?
I think it should.
Is we begin impeachment proceedings now.
And we've got to impeach him and get rid of him. My sole focus right now is to make sure that he's not the president next term. My sole focus.
We're going to go in there, we're going to impeach the motherfucker.
We're going to launch an Article 3 impeachment.
In the question of impeachment, it's about time. Nadler is, I hope he's not following the rules. Congress should take the steps towards impeachment.
We're going to have to prosecute this.
We're going to have to do it. We're going to have to impeach.
Impeachment is still on the table? Absolutely. It's always on the table.
We cannot accept a second term for Donald Trump.
If we don't impeach this president, he will get reelected.
It's time to stop this nonsense. They think they're going to win. Did you see the one man? He said it's the only way we're going to beat him in 2020. They have to do this. The only way well, that's a compliment, I guess. But think of what he said. It's the only way they're going to beat me. And actually, it's working the other way because now we have our best poll numbers that we've ever had. It's It's crazy.
Yeah, that video came out 30 minutes after the announcement by Pelosi, but it was put together last week.
Yeah, Al Green, his statement, we have to impeach this president, otherwise he's going to get reelected. Boy, that's a damning statement, and they seized on that appropriately. Tom in Oswego.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. You mentioned that you think this is their last-ditch effort to try to impeach him. I personally think we ain't seen nothing yet. I think the beginning of the year is we start getting to the home stretch. They're going to pull out everything. I think people's heads will spin. There'll be so many things coming out of the woodwork. So, like I said, I don't think this is anything.
Right.
I think just hold on, because this could be a wild ride.
Well, thanks for the call, Tom. I mean, you still have, you have 6 committees that were doing work in all kinds of directions, work towards impeachment in all kinds of directions that had nothing to do with Ukraine. Now we're looping into Ukraine. Who saw this phone call coming? I certainly didn't. You're right. It's unpredictable. It's an unpredictable environment, Tom.
And Trump is meeting Zelensky today. I think they should reenact the phone call. Like, hi, how are you? Hey, good. How are you doing? Get out 2 bananas and just talk to each other.
I like that.
Don't you think? Because they're meeting today. Why not? What a great... Because Zelensky told a reporter, I think from the Jerusalem News, he said, nobody pressured me to do anything. All right, and he's looking forward to the phone call coming out.
I think on the reenactment, Trump should play Zelensky and Zelensky should play Trump.
Oh, there you go.
Just to show the range of those two reality TV stars.
Yeah.
Dan in Plainfield, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. The Democratic Communist Party has just guaranteed President Donald Trump the next re-election. No doubt about it. And for the transcripts that are coming out, I don't think that he is savvy enough to know if those transcripts were damning against him. So he's giving those transcripts. No doubt about it. Next president of the United States. Have a nice day, folks.
Thanks for the call, Dan. I want to exercise the restraint that the left doesn't and not engage in the cheap, perhaps, the one sentence predicate to, saying reckless things. I said perhaps. We don't know what's on the transcript either. We don't know what the nature of the call is. One would logically assume the president wouldn't volunteer this, would fight this if he thought there was something damaging. That's logical. But we don't know, so we're going to have to wait and see as well.
Connect with Dan and Amy using the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
This is Jerry Boyer of Town Hall Finance for townhall.com. The New York Times recently launched a major propaganda campaign under the guise of journalism. What they call the 1619 Project begins with this claim, quote, "In order to understand the brutality of American capitalism, you have to start on the plantation," unquote. 2 problems right there in that first sentence. First, slavery is not the foundation of American capitalism. Second, slavery is the opposite of capitalism. Pro-slavery writers attacked capitalist economics because they recognized that capitalism is the enemy of slavery. Simply put, American wealth is not based on slavery. Quite the opposite. Slavery slowed innovation to the degree that slave states were much poorer than non-slave states in the North. Capitalism starts with the idea that human beings create property, not that they are property. Don't be fooled. Socialism equals slavery. Capitalism equals freedom.
Publicpolicy.pepperdine.edu.
Hey, this is Ben Shapiro. I'm going to do something I thought I'd never do. I'm going to endorse Michael Knowles. Not as a person, his show. Is Michael Knowles execrable? Of course. But he is also sharp, original, and, sure, I guess I'll say it, he's funny.
More bizarre details emerge about Jeffrey Epstein's obvious murder at the hands of Hillary Clinton. Suicide!
And he's doing his part to keep our Daily Wire tumblers filled to the brim with sweet, sweet leftist humor.
We win, you lose, Carlos Maza.
His book, Reasons to Vote for Democrats, which is completely blank, hit the #1 spot on Amazon and was endorsed by President Trump, the President of the United States.
The culture is so sick that you're actually not doing any of the things that politics is supposed to permit.
Text Ben to 64600 and I'll send you a link to Michael's show to listen on your phone for free. Okay, look, the fact that Michael Knowles has a really great podcast, that doesn't actually care about my feelings. I do want you to listen to Michael Knowles. Yes, I know. I can't believe I'm saying that. It happens to be true. That's text Ben to 64600. Go listen and subscribe.
Texting and data rates may apply.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning
Well,
Answer.
lest we forget the other half of the story, Joe Biden, we won't at 5:38.
But now let's head into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
63 degrees at 5:31. State Senator Marty Sandoval in the spotlight after federal agents raided his offices in Springfield and Cicero and his home on Chicago's southwest side. Officials in Pakistan have just said at least 24 are dead, hundreds more injured, following a devastating earthquake there on Tuesday. Wisconsin, a lot to clean up in the town of Wheaton. Sheriff there this morning in Chippewa County says a tornado touched down last night. It's a quite small town between Eau Claire and Chippewa Falls. President Trump and Ukraine's president scheduled to meet today at the UN. President insisting that he did not pressure that president in a recent phone call.
And there was never any quid pro quo. The letter was beautiful. It was a perfect letter. It was unlike Biden, who, by the way, what he said was a horror.
Their meeting comes a day after Speaker Nancy Pelosi is asking committees to begin a formal impeachment inquiry of President Trump.
Therefore, today, I'm announcing the House of Representatives moving forward with an official impeachment inquiry. I'm directing our 6 committees to proceed with their investigations under that umbrella.
However, House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy says the Speaker cannot decide by herself to launch a formal impeachment inquiry.
Speaker Pelosi happens to be the Speaker of this House, but she does not speak for America when it comes to this issue. She cannot decide unilaterally what happens here.
House of Commons in Britain will reconvene today after British Prime Minister Boris Johnson's decision to suspend Parliament was ruled unlawful. The second parent is going to prison in the college admissions fraud case. California business executive Devin Sloan was sentenced in federal court in Boston Tuesday. The Navy is investigating a string of suicides among sailors serving on the USS George H.W. Bush aircraft carrier. 3 happened in less than a week earlier this month, including 2 on the same day. Well, they happened at off-base locations and do not appear to be connected. University of Chicago Medical Center nurses are scheduled to return to work today following their first ever strike, but it may not be the end of their clashes with the hospital. The issues that led the nurses to walk off the job remain. Nurses went off the job last Friday, then were locked out by the hospital for 4 more days. A teen boy is dead. 3 men are wounded. They were targeted in another Chicago mass shooting, this time on Chicago's west side. Shooting happened last night while the victims were walking near Hoyne and Cullerton. Cubs on the brink of playoff elimination. Following a 9-2 loss to the Pirates, Indians beat the White Sox 11-0 at Guaranteed Rate Field. 5:34 is our time. We'll have a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Sean Hannity sees Trump helping minorities.
More than 80% of the new jobs created under Donald Trump have gone to, if you can believe it, minorities. Oh, I thought Republicans hated minorities. I thought Republicans are racist and they're sexist and they're homophobic, xenophobic, Islamophobic, and they keep saying racist, racist, racist. Which one are you looking at?
The Sean Hannity Show. Afternoons at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Safety. It's so important at your industrial facility. You need to keep your personnel safe and meet OSHA requirements. One problem with your ladders, platforms, or safety guards, and you could be facing costly fines. Vans Industrial helps you meet OSHA standards to keep your employees safe.
Hi, I'm Dave Van Camp, president of Vans Industrial. As a business owner, I realize the importance of keeping my employees safe, and I'm here to offer my expertise. Vans Industrial is a specialty contractor uniquely equipped to design, fabricate, and install safety equipment, including walkways, handrails, stairways, and machinery guards. Our Vans Industrial team can inspect existing systems, engineer solutions, fabricate quality goods, and install them with trained pros, all making a safer environment for your employees.
Vans uses only the best and safest union-trained mechanics, insured at the highest level, to perform the job right. Call 833-VANS-IND. That's 833-VANS-IND. Or on the web at vansindustrial.com.
For more than 50 years, Mueller CPA, a certified public accounting and business advisory firm, has been serving clients in Chicagoland. Dave Nissen, Mueller's managing partner, is here to explain Mueller CPA's history, journey, and opportunity.
Thanks, Dan. Our firm was started by Al Mueller as a one-person CPA firm in 1968. Through growth and partnerships, Mueller CPA has blossomed from a regional firm to an organization that provides services worldwide. Mueller is a reflection of our years of listening and caring for our clients, and we would not be here today if it wasn't for our professionals and support personnel. We value the human side of our business and recognize it as being the most important element of our success. We are growing, we are hiring, and we welcome your interest in our firm.
If you are looking for your first opportunity or your forever career, join an award-winning team that cares about you. Visit the career page at MuellerCPA.com or call Dave directly at 630-524-5274.
Blue Emu supports healthy muscles and joints. Blue Emu works fast and you won't stink.
5:36 AM 560 traffic center time. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Inbound Eisenhower, traffic is bottled up right now from Manheim to 17th Avenue. There's road work in the two right lanes. We're looking at about 35 minutes from 390 to downtown. Outbound 40 with delays from Central to 1st Avenue and Manheim to the Tri-State. The Edens is okay. The Kennedy looks good. Express lanes are open inbound. About Stevenson, traffic is tight around Pulaski, and then Ashland to the Ryan. 36 minutes, 355 Lakeshore Drive. The Ryan's a bit congested approaching downtown. About Bishopport, it is bunched up from 130th to Stony Island with construction of the two left lanes. 24 minutes, 8094 to the merge. That's traffic. I'm Jim Telemonte on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center, breezy. Could have a morning thunderstorm in spots, and then partly sunny by the afternoon, high 78. Currently, we have 63 degrees. Next news coming up at 6. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by In the Know with Wealth Management Group, hosted by Craig Bolanos. Heard Sunday mornings at 10.
See Michelle Malkin, Sean Hannity, and Laura Logan at Freedom Summit 2019. Tickets on sale now at freedomsummitchicago.com.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. In their enthusiasm over the renewed prospects for President Trump to be impeached and removed from office, at least impeached, if nothing else. The D.C. press corps is dutifully glossing over the other half of this story, perhaps the most important half, and that's the dealings of Joe Biden in Ukraine as Vice President of the United States.
Well, everybody yesterday took his press conference live from Wilmington, Delaware, when he was glowing about this announcement from Pelosi.
I can take the political attacks.
Yeah,
they'll come and they'll go, and in time they'll soon be forgotten. But if we allow a president to get away with shredding the United States Constitution,
shredding the heck out of it,
that will last forever.
Yeah. Great piece by Joe Biden. Just Joe Biden. Forget Ukraine for a second. Just Joe Biden by Victor Davis Hanson, who summarizes a lot of what we've discussed. But some other pieces of the Joe Biden record that perhaps are unknown, forgotten, not fully appreciated now that he's a presidential candidate for the third time. And this time, one that actually has a demonstrable shot, unlike the previous two. You know, Joe Biden, you forget these individual stories because they come and go. But Victor Davis Hanson, VDH, summarizes this nicely. Biden is a fabulist. He is always the center of both heroism and tragedy. And as Bard, he is not above stitching together myths to enhance his own suffering, ordeal, or indomitable spirit. Thus Corn Pop. Thus the Bronze Star on the Navy captain. Those two stories. Oh, yeah. Thus the tough guy standing up to bullies in politics, too. Remember this? On two occasions, Biden told us that He doesn't want to debate Trump. He wants to teach him some manners.
Oh, yeah, let's take it outside, right?
The press always asks me, don't I wish I were debating him? No, I wish I were in high school. I could take him behind the gym. That's what I'd wish. I'd take him behind the gym and beat the hell out of him. I've been in a locker room. I've been in a lot of locker rooms my whole life. Okay. I'm a pretty damn good athlete. Any guy that talked that way was usually the fattest, ugliest SOB in the room. Big, tough-talking, swashbuckling Joe. Then there's this other piece, too, perhaps people have forgotten. And this was reported in The Atlantic. This is just a nice summary piece by VDH. For many years, Joe Biden described the driver of the truck that struck and killed his first wife and their daughter in December of 1972 as drunk.
Oh, that's what
which he apparently was not. The tale could hardly be more tragic. Why add in a baseless charge? The family of the truck driver has labored to correct the record, but Biden made the reference to drunkenness as recently as 2007, needlessly resurrecting a false and painful accusation. Why add the scurrilous charge? Because he's a fabulist. Got to enhance your own suffering, ordeal, indomitable spirit.
Every time he has talked about this, it said his daughter and wife were killed by a drunk driver. Maybe he meant to say a truck driver, not a drunk driver.
I don't think so. So that tells you something about the character of Joe Biden, the character we're talking about in this context, where we're to believe somebody who is a admitted plagiarist and, by the evidence, an obvious pathological fabulist.
And why would he assign his son to be on a board and give his son?
He didn't assign his son to the board. What we're to believe from Joe Biden is that the way he avoids conflicts of interest with the business dealings of family members is by not paying attention to their family business.
Well, he should pay attention to his son Hunter because he's a reckless drug addict. He started dating his brother's widow after he went on a crack bender. Listen to this. So he returned from a trip in the Hamptons and he planned to head to a detox center in Arizona, but got sidetracked during a layover in Los Angeles and asked a vagrant where he could buy crack cocaine. Hunter was then taken to downtown LA's homeless encampment where someone pulled a gun on him, but nevertheless, he returned several more times that week to buy drugs. He then got into a fight outside a Hollywood Boulevard nightclub with a man nicknamed Baby Down, who took pity on him and then drove him to that Hertz car rental office where he drove himself to Arizona to a detox resort. But then
sounds like another Joe Biden made up story with these names.
But then the Hertz workers called the cops because they found a crack pipe.
That's interesting.
Bag containing white powder.
Hunter Biden has a drug problem. What does that have to do with Ukraine?
Well, he was on a board of an energy company in Ukraine, where he received $83,000 a month.
The problem with Hunter Biden is not that he was a drug addict. I mean, that's a problem, but it's not the problem in this story. The problem in this story is he's on the board of a Ukrainian energy company with no experience in the energy industry.
Right.
That's the problem. So we can go into the wild times of Hunter Biden and his moral failings, but it's Joe Biden's conflict of interest that is the issue in Ukraine. And what the D.C. press corps is trying to do, as they were doing yesterday, is say, this was investigated, there's nothing to see here, there was no wrongdoing alleged, and so that's the end of it. It is not the end of it. It's not even the point. The point, as Andy McCarthy laid out on Laura Ingram's show, is the conflict of interest. That's the point. Do we have Andy McCarthy? We'll effort that.
312-642-5600 is our turnkey.pro answer line. 64636, type in DA, then a quick.
And this is why, here's Andy McCarthy.
You know, Biden inserted himself into a situation where he had a clear conflict of interest. Now,
bingo.
The fact that somebody has a conflict of interest doesn't necessarily mean they will do anything that's illegal or unethical. If what they're saying is true, then they should welcome an investigation, because if they can prove that, then he'll look pretty good. So let's see what happens.
Yeah, Chris.
In James Freeman's Best of the Web in the Wall Street Journal, he solicited some comments from readers about the Biden-Clinton method, how they operate in foreign lands to enrich themselves. It's an interesting choice. The absence of any applicable laws obviously makes for a nice operating environment for Americans who carry well-known political brand names and show up to do business in a foreign locale. Seems particularly welcoming if the father of such an American happens to be the sitting vice president of the United States. Yeah.
Well, my whole point about bringing up Hunter's past is that you don't give your son, who's a crazed drug addict, tens of thousands of dollars. Well, he shouldn't.
Joe Biden isn't giving.
No, I'm saying help your son get a job where he can have that access to that kind of cash.
Okay. Getting back to James Freeman. Sandra Greenheck. This is a reader. This is an average American commenting on this. Joe could claim he has no control over his wayward son, but Joe was in control of his own actions in Ukraine. He could have easily told Barack Obama to get someone else for the anti-corruption work in Ukraine because of the appearance of a conflict of interest. Would have been a no-brainer under normal conflict of interest governance rules, but he chose not to go that route. That's the point. That's it right there. And it doesn't take anybody on the cable news networks or anybody in Congress to zero in on it. Just a Wall Street Journal reader who provided that comment to James Freeman. It was a conflict of interest inherently. He could have recused himself. He could have said, Hunter's on the board of Burisma that either is or has been a target of investigation in Ukraine, so it would give the appearance of impropriety for me to involve myself. Can't do this one. We can turn it over to the Secretary of State, the NSA, any of the ambassador U.S. ambassador in Ukraine. We can turn it over to anybody other than the vice president. It doesn't have to be me, Barack. He could have done that. He didn't. That's a question that should be asked. That's the purpose of the investigation. And this is why Chuck Todd and his comments in this exchange with Senator Kennedy from Louisiana, so annoying. Kennedy didn't do a good job, let me concede. But Chuck Todd is the worst of the sophists. He's even worse than any of those cranks on MSNBC.
The allegation is this, that somehow the vice president was acting on his own behalf, not on the behalf of essentially the entire Western world, in calling for a corrupt investigator to get fired. The allegation is that somehow he was doing it at the behest of his son. There's no evidence that anything like that exists. It's an allegation that you're simply making in order to do, it's sort of the old LBJ. Well, we have no idea if it's true, but make them deny it. That's not how politics is supposed to work. I understand in Louisiana and Texas it can work that way sometimes. But we were trying to create a fair rule of law here at some point.
This smarmy little prig, Chuck Todd. Oh, make an allegation and make them deny it. That's not how politics is supposed to work. And then what does Chuck Todd do in the next breath? Precisely what he says we shouldn't do in politics.
I'm saying we need to look into it. What I'm telling you is the president of the United States is the one who violated the Constitution, perhaps, not Hunter Biden. And Hunter Biden didn't do anything. We don't know if Hunter Biden even did.
Perhaps is the operative term, because
and more
you don't know.
And more importantly.
And I don't know because we haven't seen the transcript.
More importantly, do you know all of the financial affairs of all of your children?
And I have one child, and I do know most of the financial affairs because I put up the money.
So don't make an allegation you can't back up with evidence and then force the person to deny it. That's not proper politics. And then what does Chuck Todd do? The president is the one who violated the Constitution, perhaps. They're just the worst. He is the worst. I don't know why Hugh Hewitt goes on his show. He's a disgrace. Chuck Todd is a disgrace to journalism. He's 10 times worse than David Gregory. David Gregory is a hack and a clown. Chuck Todd is a pernicious little twit who doesn't know what the frack he's talking about. That's not the issue. Oh, by the way, on the substance of it. In addition to his hypocrisy, that is not the issue. The issue is exactly what, Wall Street Journal reader Sandra Greenheck could zero in on. Inherent conflict of interest, Chuck. It doesn't matter. I mean, it matters whether he did something illegally in addition to the fact that he pursued this despite knowing he had a conflict of interest. That is problematic in and of itself. And this is what the D.C. press corps wants to gloss over. By the way, Sean Davis, writing in the Federalist about this, makes the additional point. Do you know everything that your son does, your kids do? And like Joe didn't know about Hunter. The law firm that helped arrange the sinecure for Hunter Biden with Burisma, David Boyce's law firm, Boyce Schiller, previously hired Fusion GPS.
Oh, there you go.
To run interference for and also hired Fusion GPS connected to the Clinton campaign, Fusion GPS to run interference for Theranos, the infamous fake blood testing company whose founder was charged with wire fraud. David Boyce was the attorney for Elizabeth Holmes. If you've seen the founder, that documentary on Theranos, which is excellent. How about those connections? When Burisma later attracted the attention of Ukrainian law enforcement, Joe Biden intervened to make sure Shokin, the prosecutor, was fired. Joe Biden bragged about it again at the Council of Foreign Relations, because this is what he does as a fabulist, back in 2018. I mean, give me a break. There's no there with Biden, and we're assuming there's a there with Trump, facts and transcripts and whistleblower complaints unseen. That's the left in a nutshell. Jeff and Berwyn, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Greetings, Dan and Amy. I have two questions. This alleged whistleblower from reports says he wasn't even a first party to this phone conversation. So my question is, who was the person that was first party tell this whistleblower?
Yeah,
that
right.
was the big question. Who is this guy? Is he a plant? You know, a seditious plant from the Democrats? And the second question is, did not Obama and his administration prosecute and put in jail, I don't know, 2 or 3 whistleblowers who actually whistleblowed on crimes that were being committed? I can't remember if it's CIA or the military or whatever. Just those are questions that pop up in my head.
Yeah, it was a prosecution of a general who was, thanks for the call, Jeff, who was convicted of mishandling classified information. We talked about that in the context of Hillary Clinton. The treatment for the general was, under the law, was one thing, and for Hillary Clinton was another. How do you square the circle? You can't really. Yeah, and obviously AG Holder's office going after reporters and so forth for sources and threatening prosecution. James Rosen, for example. Yeah, right, of course. In terms of who the source is for the whistleblower, if that's, we don't know, but that's been reported. I mean, you know, take the Washington Post reporting as you will, I think with some skepticism, but if it was just hearsay that informed the whistleblower's actual complaint, then yeah, the question will be, well, where did you get the information, to the extent that this anonymous person ever gets questioned at all? Chris in Evanston, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning, you two, and thanks for everything. A couple of quick points. Number one is the left has consistently attacked Trump on the emoluments issue, and indeed, I believe this can, at a just a facial level, be seen as an emolument that is benefiting the Biden family, and of which Biden clearly had awareness. Biden was flying around on Air Force Two. His son was on Air Force Two. What does that tell you? That means his son was paying the first class plus 20% airfare, and they weren't doing it to get notches in their scrapbook. I mean, this is so obviously a subversion of Biden's then official position on behalf of the American people into an income producing, sounds like one of the ads on WIND. If you need income, you know, go to the Biden store and go in door number 1 and get your kid to fall off the plane because he's a drug-addled crazy, and get him a board slot in Beijing, get him a couple $1 billion for investment in the Ukraine, put him on a natural gas company board. I mean, I had the misfortune of actually seeing CNN last night, And to
Wasn't it
watch
crazy?
CNN last
They
night,
were
to watch
So
the
jubilant.
the CNN hustle last night was, obviously this is absurd because Trump has never cared about corruption anywhere. So his concern about corruption in the Ukraine has no meaning whatsoever. I couldn't agree, Dan, with you more about the depths to which the left has fallen. They're children. They're children, and I think this does ensure Trump's reelection. Thanks for everything, you guys.
Thanks,
So
Chris.
if Biden used his own position to line his own pockets and to help out family members, that's not illegal?
He didn't. Well, the distinction, and this is what Chuck Todd is trying to help Biden make, is, hey, that's Hunter Biden. He's an adult. Joe Biden isn't responsible for what Hunter Biden does in terms of the business that he conducts. If Joe Biden personally didn't receive any money in connection with Hunter Biden's business dealings, then he's free and clear. There's no emoluments clause issue. There's no criminal activity. Fine. Maybe. There's still a conflict of interest. There's still a conflict of interest. And we're talking about what is right, I thought. I thought the left was in the business of right and wrong, not just legal and illegal. That's what it sounded like from Chuck Todd. So let's talk about what's right and wrong. Dan in Libertyville.
Good morning. Thanks for taking my call. Last night I was watching Hannity, and he had a small segment from a CNN show in which a guest went rogue. And he said, look, the Bidens are in trouble. The Democrats should throw the Bidens under the bus like they did Al Franken for the betterment of the party. You should have seen the look on those women's faces. One actually choked, couldn't get her words, and just said, okay, and they went to another subject. It was great. So if you can find that one segment on CNN in which there's two women having a guest speaking in regards to Biden,
Well, yeah, I wouldn't be.
Oh,
Thanks for the call. No, we should be surprised by that. You think the socialist Spice Girls and the rabid left Marxist base of the party want Joe Biden as the nominee versus a Warren or a Bernie? They don't. And I think a lot more Democrats are worried that this is looking like Hillary Clinton redux now that President Trump has essentially driven the Biden story into the consciousness of the American public.
Kamala Harris, they asked her yesterday, what about Biden's action with helping his son get a job while he was vice president? And she said the voters will decide.
Yeah.
And they said, well, she goes, the voters will make their decision. I'm not talking anymore about it.
Yeah, that's a ringing endorsement.
Hear about the big stories of the day, then talk about them right here on Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Nothing speaks louder about an auto dealer than a happy customer. And at Joe Cotton Ford, they have many.
It's like my family. I never go anywhere else than Joe Cotton Ford. If I have to buy a car, I always go first Joe Cotton Ford. And they have best service ever, and the best price, and the best models.
My overall experience is great. It's easy to buy, it's easy to go through service, and overall, it's just a great experience.
More reasons why folks keep coming back to Joe Cotton Ford. It's Truck Month at Joe Cotton Ford. Get a great deal on an F-150, the best-selling truck for 42 straight years. Joe Cotton Ford has over 40 F-150s to choose from, with up to $15,000 off XLT crew cabs. All built Ford proud, built Ford tough. All incentives applied. Stock number T9205. Celebrate Truck Month at Joe Cotton Ford, Gary and North Avenue in Carroll Stream, or at joecottonford.com. joecottonford.com.
Our freedom and security are made possible through the service and sacrifice of our military and first responders. The Gary Sinise Foundation provides many outreach programs supporting these brave men and women. Join us. Donate at GarySiniseFoundation.org.
It's news, opinion, insight. It's AM 560. The Answer. WIND, Chicago.
We'll find out today exactly what he said. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. We're expecting the transcript of President Trump's July call with Ukraine's leader, which led House Speaker Nancy Pelosi to open a formal impeachment inquiry.
The president must be held accountable. No one is above the law.
A source tells Fox News there's no smoking gun in the transcript, but there are a few words in it that will supposedly raise eyebrows. The president accused of threatening to withhold military aid if they don't investigate Joe Biden and his son. Now, the White House is working to let Congress see the whistleblower complaint that started this controversy. Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
Dave, a senior administration official tells Fox News the Intelligence Committee Inspector General found the whistleblower at the center of the controversy has a political bias in favor of a rival candidate. The name of that candidate was not given. House Judiciary Committee ranking member Republican Doug Collins blasted the impeachment inquiry on Fox and Friends.
Ms. Pelosi may be Speaker of the House, but she does not rule the House by fiat. She cannot decide what she wants on her own.
House Intelligence Committee Chair Democrat Adam Schiff says he hopes the whistleblower will testify as soon as this week. Dave.
All right, so there's one Republican who agrees with the Trump impeachment over the Ukraine call, Bill Weld, who's challenging the president for the GOP nomination.
The one thing that's absolutely clear is that it's grounds for removal from office.
Weld from a BusinessInsider.com online debate last night with fellow challenger Joe Walsh. But one House Democrat who opposes impeachment is Tulsi Gabbard, a candidate for president, who told the Fox News Rundown podcast she's against it.
For the sole reason that I think it would be terribly further divisive for our country. We're already being torn apart on so many different levels.
Yesterday, Gabbard became the 12th Democrat to qualify for next month's presidential debate. There's a new Quinnipiac poll putting Elizabeth Warren in the lead in that race, slightly ahead of Joe Biden, 27-25%. Bernie Sanders third at 16%. Warren also led Biden in a poll in Iowa over the weekend. America's listening to Fox News.
63 degrees. Our time is 6:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. State Senator Marty Sandoval in the spotlight again after federal agents raided his offices in Springfield and Cicero and his home. Raids happened yesterday as part of an ongoing criminal investigation. University of Chicago Medical Center nurses are scheduled to return to work this morning following their first ever strike, but it may not be the end of their clashes with the hospital. The issues that led the nurses to walk off the job remain. About 2,200 University of Chicago medicine nurses went on a one-day strike last Friday. Then they were locked out of the hospital complex for 4 more days, while temporary nurses took their place. Democrat presidential hopeful Bernie Sanders says he's taking sides with the Chicago Teachers Union in their fight for a new contract.
Negotiate a good faith contract that is just, that is fair, that treats the teachers and staff in this city with the respect and dignity that they deserve.
The rally was held the same day as union members began voting on whether to go on strike. Arlington International Racecourse will have horse racing next year. The racing board voting unanimously yesterday to allow horse racing at the Arlington Heights racetrack, despite the decision by the track's owner not to apply for a casino license at that facility. Cubs on the brink of playoff elimination following a 9-2 loss to the Pirates in Pittsburgh. Indians over the White Sox 11-zip. Blackhawks and Capitals on the docket. It's their last home game of the NHL preseason. The news service of Circle K. You know what the price of gas is right now? It doesn't matter how many dollars and who cares cents. Get the Easy Pay card at Circle K and save 30 cents a gallon on your first 100 gallons. Then save 6 cents a gallon on every fill-up after that. Sign up in-store and visit CircleK.com/EasyPay for more details. 6:04 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560, The Answer.
Dennis Prager says the left is not hiding its agenda.
The left's threat to everything we treasure is unprecedented in American history. By the way, this is not a charge, it's a description. They admit it. They acknowledge that they have contempt for the West, contempt for the Judeo-Christian value system, contempt for the Constitution.
The Dennis Prager Show, weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Dell has something extra for small businesses, up to 45% off during their semi-annual sale. It's a perfect time to update to Windows 10 with huge deals on business computers featuring Intel Core processors, plus free shipping on everything. Call Small Business Technology Advisors who can help you achieve your business goals affordably with low monthly payments on the right tech for you. Just call 877-BUY-DELL. That's 877-BUY-DELL or visit Dell.com/business deals for semi-annual savings.
Starting Brute now.
Turn right at Fortress Mountain. Turn left at Mount Hood. Head south to Moab, Utah. Continue on the Great North American Test Drive.
Run with us on a John Deere Gator XUV 835. With our quietest cab ever and optional heat and AC, and a four-wheel independent suspension, it's built to run where no one else can. Nothing runs like a Deere. Search John Deere Gator for more.
Policies issued by American General Life Insurance Company, Houston, Texas. Not available in all states. For details, visit AIGdirect.com.
Do you have a family? Would you like to help make sure they'll be taken care of if anything were to happen to you? If you answered yes, you probably need life insurance. Now, do you think life insurance is expensive? If you answered yes to that too, you definitely need to give AIG Direct a call. We could find you a $250,000 policy for just $14 a month, which means you could save hundreds of dollars a year. Call us now for a free, no-obligation quote. 1-800-400-5008. Since 1995, we've helped millions of people find out if they could save up to 70% on their term life insurance. See how affordably we can help you protect your family. Call AIG Direct now for your free quote. 1-800-400-5008. You could save up to 70%. That's 1-800-400-5008. 1-800-400-5008.
No one wants to wake up to find they're the victim of identity theft or malware is compromising their smartphone. LifeLock with Norton now includes protection for your identity and devices. Limited time offer. Get 30% off your first year. Ends October 6th. Join at LifeLock.com. Use promo code RISK.
6:07 AM 560 traffic center time. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Edens Expressway outbound traffic is stop and go from Niles Center to Oakton. We have a report of a rollover crash in that area. We're looking at least a 2 or 3 minute delay right now. Inbound Kennedy, traffic's heavy in pockets from 190 to Lawrence, then Division to Ohio. 30 minutes O'Hare to downtown. 11 from Montrose, 8 in the Express. Outbound it's okay. Eisenhower with road work around 17th, the 2 right lanes. We're now looking at 40 minutes, 390 to downtown. Outbound 40 as well. Stevenson 45 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Ryan 22 minutes, 95 to downtown. I-57, 19 minutes, I-80 to the merge. Bishop Ford 37, heavy Sibley to the merge. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center, here's our meteorologist, Steve Williams.
A shower or thunderstorm in spots early this morning. It'll be breezy, then intervals of clouds and sun today, high 78. Partly cloudy tonight, low 56. Mostly sunny, nice day tomorrow, the high near 70. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
65 at O'Hare. Next news, 6:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the Money Hour radio show, Saturday afternoons at 3 on AM 560, The Answer. Brought to you by Pearshell Financial Group.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So the other key player in this Trump impeachment, Biden conflict of interest saga is Rudy Giuliani, the president's personal attorney, one of them. And the questions that surround Giuliani being dispatched to Ukraine. Giuliani appearing on Laura Ingram's show yesterday to address how it went down versus how it's being portrayed as going down. Giuliani, it was tapped by President Trump to go dig up dirt on Biden in Ukraine. That's how it's being portrayed.
Well, wasn't that what he was supposed to do as his personal attorney?
Well, first of all, it didn't come from Trump directly, Giuliani explains. And secondly, no, it wasn't just an Oppo research mission.
Insiders saying, you mucked this up. Your response?
Man, I really did. And you know who I did it at the request of? The State Department. I never talked to a Ukrainian official until the State Department called me and asked me to do it. And then I reported every conversation back to them. And Laura, I'm a pretty good lawyer, just a country lawyer, but it's all here, right here. The first call from the State Department, The debriefing of the State
So
Department.
why are they out to get you? This story is filled with unnamed sources again.
I will compliment myself because I do a pretty good job for him, and they try to destroy everybody around him. But they're not going to intimidate me. In fact, I'm going to work harder because I don't get intimidated by bullies. I have a chapter in my book about standing up to bullies, but I never realized the depth of the corruption. I always thought Joe Biden was intellectually challenged, but a nice guy. I never knew the depth of this corruption. It's massive, it's shocking, and if I played a role in getting that out, I did a service to my country, and I'm proud of it. And everything I did is defensible, and everything I did is legal, and most of what they're doing is to cover up for a crime.
312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. You know, we had experience with Rudy G during the Mueller saga, and oftentimes I think he was less than helpful to the president's cause. And his appearances over the last several days, I don't know that they're terribly helpful either. I don't know what the facts are. Giuliani is asserting a very specific set of facts that ostensibly could be checked and could be backed or disputed by State Department officials, including the ambassadors that he has mentioned. But some of the assertions that he's making require more evidentiary backup than he's provided to this point. Let me just say that. Giuliani was then asked by Laura Ingraham, okay, well, fine. There's a legitimate issue of inquiry in Ukraine with respect to 2016 election interference. Why you? Why you, the president's personal lawyer, the president's criminal defense attorney? Why are you being dispatched to Ukraine? Why don't you leave that to the FBI or to DOJ? And Giuliani answered.
Because the FBI's performance in its entire investigation, including up to this moment, is flawed. Why am I doing it, Laura? Can't you figure it out? I'm his defense lawyer. I'm defending him. He's my client. I don't know. Only Donald Trump is not entitled to a defense in America.
But how are you defending him by investigating Biden? Just spell it out for us.
Because one of the things that the prosecutor that Biden had fired, and then the prosecutor that Biden helped to put in, one of the things they did was to dismiss a case against an organization that was collecting false information about Donald Trump, about Paul Manafort, and feeding it to the Democratic National Committee.
Okay, that explains it to people.
That organization was
I don't
run
think
by...
people understood that.
That was run by George Soros, who then hired the crooked FBI agent who is now working for George Soros. Laura, this stinks. This is Tammany Hall, New York politics to the tune of $1 billion.
Okay. We talked about that. John Solomon reported on the George Soros organization, the quote-unquote anti-corruption organization that he largely funded that was operating in Ukraine. John Solomon at thehill.com reporting on that back in March. So okay, I guess that sort of provides a predicate. Now, Giuliani also said, and you pointed out earlier, Amy, that the Ukrainian President Zelensky has said the same thing. There were no pressure, but no pressure applied. But Giuliani speaking for himself on this assertion about applying pressure to the Ukrainians, pressure on the Ukrainians, I should say.
I met with the representative of Mr. Zelensky. We never discussed any kind of pressure about a criminal case. We never discussed any kind of quid pro quo or pressure. So I am more than willing to have anybody talk to the person that I talked to. Plus, everybody on the Ukraine side has said they weren't pressured, which they weren't. My conversation was to help the State Department facilitate a meeting. An Ambassador Volker called me. He asked me to do it. He set up the meeting or helped me to set it up. I debriefed them 3 times in great detail about it.
So there you go. You have Ambassador Ken Volker, who could be queried as to whether or not that's how he recollects what went down and how it went down. Is Giuliani telling the truth or not? So there's a source. And again, John Solomon's reporting does suggest that Giuliani is at least talking about the right players. There was the Soros group called ANTAC, I think was the name of it. Yeah, ANTAC, that was funded largely by Soros. That does, and Soros, as Giuliani goes on to talk about, as he did previously over the weekend, a former FBI agent, Greenaway was her name, was hired by Soros after she retired from the Bureau. So, there's a lot of facts that don't necessarily string together. At least there's not the evidence to string them all together yet, but there's a lot of information for discussion and
He's
inquiry.
talking too much, though, and good attorneys know when to shut their mouths. They don't. I remember with Chris Cuomo.
Did you ask the Ukraine to investigate Joe Biden? No, actually I didn't. I asked the Ukraine to investigate the allegations that there was interference in the election of 2016 by the Ukrainians for the benefit of Hillary Clinton, for which there already is a court finding.
You never asked anything about Hunter Biden. You never asked anything about Joe Biden.
The only thing I asked about Joe Biden is to get to the bottom of how it was that Lutsenko, who was appointed, dismissed the case against ANTAC.
So you did ask Ukraine to look into Joe Biden?
Of course I did.
You just said you didn't.
That was all clarified on Fox News Sunday. He went into painful detail on this, as he did again with Laura Ingraham yesterday.
You need to go on the show. You can just be quiet.
Well, it's a bit difficult for him to be quiet when he was the individual on the ground in Ukraine having these conversations. There has to be some accounting for that.
Right, but I didn't know that the State Department asked him to do that. That's news to me.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. Now, he's providing specific names and specific, events that can be fact-checked. That's more than Joe Biden's doing. John in Palatine, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. First, I think Democrats care a lot more about investigation rather than legislation, but I think the old adage, loose lips sink ships, apply here. I don't know why President Trump doesn't jettison Giuliani, because every time Giuliani interjects himself into any conversation or discussion, he louses it up. And I would rather just see Giuliani and Biden sent off to a timeshare in Colorado and just eat sandwiches and crackers and just go away.
Meditate.
Thanks for the call, John. I don't know that Rudy, over the last 3 days of talk show appearances, has provided more clarity. But there does need to be an accounting for his activity there. Okay. So maybe he needs a spokesman. Robert in Bloomingdale.
Yes, there's plenty of corruption to go around, because Manafort was working for a puppet of the Kremlin, which was Yanukovych, the president of Ukraine.
Yeah.
After Ukraine had their revolution, that guy ran away to Moscow for protection. Okay, Manafort is a dirty guy. Biden is a dirty guy. This whole thing is full of corrupt people. There is no innocence here. Everybody's trying to load up their pockets. Either it's millions or billions. There is no clean hands here. I don't know about Trump. I don't even know if he knows what the hell's going on, because this is so dirty, it's ridiculous.
All right, thanks for the call, Robert. Ukraine is not exactly known as a paragon of good government.
No.
And so, Manafort was there, there's no question. And by the way, Manafort, I don't know that we're ever going to see him as a free man again. So there's certainly some reckoning for Manafort. What about for the other actors? Frank in St. Charles, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, good morning. Let's change the situation a little. Let's say Joe Biden was not even involved in politics. He's retired or whatever. When Trump called this foreign government, would the name Joe Biden have come up during that conversation?
Who knows? I don't know. Hillary Clinton's retired from politics. If there was any dirt on Hillary Clinton in the Ukraine, Trump would probably ask about that too. I mean, I think that's just how he treats his political enemies. I mean, if your point is to say there was a political feature to the inquiry, it wasn't just sort of sans politics, anti-corruption concern, yeah, probably so. And the point I would say to you, as we've discussed over the last couple of days, is, oh heavens, a president of the United States or politicians generally engaged in the foreign arena, and they use domestic politics as part of their calculus for the information they want and the decisions they make? Oh, golly. This is unprecedented? I don't think so. Thanks for the call, Frank.
It's news, opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Sheet metal is a big part of commercial and industrial facilities. Look around your business and you'll quickly notice how many components use sheet metal. From fan systems and hoods to machinery guards and much more. For top quality sheet metal work, get to know the pros at Vans Industrial.
Hi, I'm Dave Van Camp, owner of Vans Industrial. Vans Industrial is an industrial sheet metal contractor that can fabricate all types of alloys up to 1-inch plate. We perform jobs including chutes, hoppers, stacks, siding, and dust collection. We work in material handling facilities including steel, chemical, agricultural, food processing plants, and more. Vans Industrial can also design and perform the engineering for a complete turnkey installation. Our quality work is installed by trained mechanics who will work closely with you to make sure the job is done right.
Vans uses only the best and safest union-trained mechanics, insured at the highest level. Call 833-VANS-IND. That's 833-VANS-IND. Or on the web at vansindustrial.com.
Looking to secure financing on a new home? Then you need to call Team Hochberg. Chuck, Marine veteran, has heard thousands of Team Hochberg ads, so naturally he called them with his VA mortgage questions. Oh no, Chuck first contacted another radio lender who blew him off after he learned he was credit challenged. So Chuck contacted Team Hochberg, which he should have done in the first place. Team Hochberg introduced Chuck to their credit enhancement expert, Gary Novell, who helped Chuck enhance his credit so Team Hochberg can help him secure a VA loan. Best part, Team Hochberg will issue Chuck a closing cost credit to offset the investment he made in himself to enhance his credit. Now, if you're a veteran and would like to work with a trusted local lender who respects your service and won't blow you off if you're credit challenged, then call Team Hochberg now. 855-56-DAVID or visit 56david.com. That number again, 855-56-DAVID or visit 56david.com. Homeside Financial, Equal Housing Lender, Illinois Residential Mortgage Licensee, MB 6761019, NMLS 1124061.
You hear that? The slopes are calling. Adjust your altitude at the 2019 Windy City Ski and Snowboard Show, the Midwest premier show, September 27th through the 29th at the Schaumburg Convention Center. Save up to 70% off retail on over $1 million of clothing, gear, and accessories in a massive super sale area. Check out the latest gear from dozens of top names: Salomon, Rossignol, Libtech, Technica, Burton, Marker, and more. Meet with reps from the top Midwest and Western ski resorts: Telluride, Big Sky, Alpine Valley, Devil's Head, Crystal Mountain, Wilmot Resort, Ski Brule, Ski Utah, and more. Kids 12 and under are free, plus free parking. Buy tickets online and get all the details at WindyCitySkiAndSnowboardShow.com. Paid admission includes a free lift ticket, plus 2-for-1 lift ticket offers. Restrictions apply. See website for details. September 27th through the 29th at the Schaumburg Convention Center. It's the Midwest's biggest winter party, the Windy City Ski and Snowboard Show.
Balance of Nature, changing the world one life at a time.
I hear the commercial constantly. You know, you always wonder, is this for real? You know, I said, let me try it. And I've been on it ever since. And I'm not stopping. I'm not stopping. Last summer, we went up into the mountains with the family, and we decided to go into caverns and walk on rocks and stuff like that. And I was all over the place. And they said, oh, Grandma's taking her super pills. I said, they're not super pills. They're fruits and vegetables.
Experience the Balance of Nature difference for yourself. To end the month of September, Balance of Nature is offering a 30% discount and free shipping on your first preferred order of Balance of Nature. This special is ending between now and September 30th, so don't wait. Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, I want to get to Trump's address to the UN General Assembly. There were other matters yesterday besides impeachment politics, but quickly, Jim on the north side, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning. Maybe I'm missing something here, but if there is corruption at the highest level of government in the United States that hasn't been brought to light, would it be appropriate for the president to ask about that?
Yes, right. Thanks for the call, Jim. Yeah, generally, the question is, though, the motivation and the limited focus of the corruption. He wasn't talking about corruption generally speaking in Ukraine. He wasn't talking about what's happening with the prosecution of corruption. He was talking, arguably, ostensibly, what we believe to be true. We'll see today at when the transcript's released, specifically about Biden. And so that, of course, brings in the specter of his personal political ambitions more so than it does any general concern for political corruption in foreign lands. That's the argument. Switching gears, Trump at the UN, he laid down some markers, no question about it, starting with a general message consistent with his America First domestic message.
The free world must embrace its national foundations. It must not attempt to erase them or replace them. Looking around and all over this large, magnificent planet, the truth is plain to see. If you want freedom, take pride in your country. If you want democracy, hold on to your sovereignty. And if you want peace, love your nation. Wise leaders always put the good of their own people and their own country first. The future does not belong to globalists. The future belongs to patriots. The future belongs to sovereign and independent nations who protect their citizens, respect their neighbors, and honor the differences that make each country special and unique.
No paeans to world government from this president, even amid many who believe in such things in the audience. And then he went from the general statement of principle, philosophical statement, to the specifics, and he just went down the hit list. Some of the more entertaining moments, President Trump's message to Maduro in Venezuela.
The dictator Maduro is a Cuban puppet, protected by Cuban bodyguards, hiding from his own people, while Cuba plunders Venezuela's oil wealth to sustain its own corrupt communist rule.
And during his remarks, specifically directed at Venezuela, you had the Venezuelan foreign official in the audience reading a book about Simon Bolivar. That's real funny, real funny. Bolivar was known as the liberator, freeing countries, including Venezuela, Bolivia, Colombia, from the Spanish Empire. Is Maduro a liberator? I wonder. How would Bernie Sanders respond? How would the Democrat Socialists here respond, much less the Venezuelan apparatchiks? Great moment of moral clarity in Venezuela, a great moment of moral clarity on Iran.
One of the greatest security threats facing peace-loving nations today is the repressive regime in Iran. The regime's record of death and destruction is well known to us all. Not only is Iran the world's #1 state sponsor of terrorism, but Iran's leaders are fueling the tragic wars in both Syria and Yemen. At the same time, the regime is squandering the nation's wealth and future in a fanatical quest for nuclear weapons and the means to deliver them. We must never allow this to happen.
But this is not to say Trump did not extend a rhetorical olive branch to Iran. He did.
After 4 decades of failure, it is time for Iran's leaders to step forward and to stop threatening other countries and focus on building up their own country. It is time for Iran's leaders to finally put the Iranian people first. America is ready to embrace friendship with all who genuinely seek peace and respect. Many of America's closest friends today were once our greatest foes. The United States has never believed in permanent enemies. We want partners, not adversaries. America knows that while anyone can make war, only the most courageous can choose peace.
Drop the fanatical pursuit of nuclear weapons and the virulent anti-Semitism and threats against countries, including Israel, and we'll reconsider the sanctions. That's an offer. Not one the Muellers are likely to take up, but it's an offer nonetheless.
And they were listening. I mean, they were there for a speech. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Speaking about corruption, let's talk about it locally here in Chicago as the FBI raids another legislator's offices, as well as the Chicago Teachers Union begins the vote to authorize a strike at 6:36.
And she's back. Look who's going to be there for the October debate. We'll tell you. But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
President Trump will meet with Ukrainian President Zelensky today. White House confirms that the president will meet with the Ukrainian president at the UN General Assembly, in spite of a recent whistleblower complaint about a promise that the president allegedly made to that foreign leader. California Senator and slumping Democrat presidential hopeful Kamala Harris says it's shocking how the nation, she says, got to this point.
The President of the United States has confessed that he is attempting to collude with a foreign government to yet again manipulate the elections process of our country.
President Trump says Secretary of State Pompeo has received permission from the Ukrainian government to release the entire transcript of the phone call between the president and Ukraine's president. Meantime, former presidential candidate Hillary Clinton says she is in favor of Nancy Pelosi's impeachment gamble, but House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy says the Speaker cannot decide by herself to launch a formal impeachment inquiry.
Speaker Pelosi happens to be the Speaker of this House, but she does not speak for America when it comes to this issue. She cannot decide unilaterally what happens here.
This morning, the Coast Guard is touting its capture of a drug smuggling vessel carrying 12,000 pounds of cocaine. Officials announcing the cutter Valiant intercepted a narco sub in the Pacific. The Russian Navy says a walrus sunk one of its large landing boats. No one hurt in last week's attack off the shore of Cape Geller in the Arctic. In Wisconsin today, there's a lot to clean up in the town of Wheaton. Sheriff in Chippewa County says a tornado touched down last night. State Senator Marty Sandoval in the spotlight again after federal agents raid his offices in Springfield, Cicero, and his home on Chicago's southwest side. A teen boy is dead, 3 men wounded after they were targeted in Chicago's latest mass shooting, this time on the west side. The shooting happened last night while the victims were walking near Hoyne and Cullerton. And an Army vet deported to Mexico is back in Chicago today. Miguel Perez Jr. is being allowed back in the city, but only for 2 weeks, to attend a hearing on whether he can become a U.S. citizen. He was deported last year after his citizenship application was denied because of a major 2010 drug conviction. Cubs are on the brink of playoff elimination following a 9-2 loss to the Pirates. Indians crushed the White Sox 11-0 at Guaranteed Rate Field. The news service of LifeLock with Norton. No one wants to find they're the victim of identity theft or that malware is compromising their smartphone. LifeLock with Norton now includes protection for your identity and devices. Limited time offer, 30% off your first year. Ends October 6th. Join at lifelock.com. Use promo code RISK. 6:34. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Sean Hannity's tired of the double standard.
They only care about Russian interference if it can be tied to Donald Trump. If they cared about obstruction, they'd be all over the bleach bit, the hammers, and the deletions. If they cared about the rule of law, they would have been all over the Espionage Act and top secret classified information on Hillary's server.
The Sean Hannity Show. Afternoons at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Want your home's furnace to stay safe and reliable? And want to prevent any potential problems before they happen? At your local 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning, we recommend an annual furnace inspection and tune-up. Right now, get big savings on a furnace tune-up. Call 855-1-HOUR. Because not taking care of your furnace, that's just cold.
Your comfort is just a call away. Call 1 Hour.
Terms and conditions may apply. Call for details. Independently owned and operated. Licensed in the respective state or county.
Hey, Craig and Leslie here from In the Know. We know how important it is to take a partner in the passenger seat when you're on a long road trip. You need a trusted friend and a voice to help you navigate through the hills and valleys of your journey. We want to be that voice for you on your road to retirement.
Absolutely. Our whole team at Wealth Management Group will be by your side for the long haul.
Let Wealth Management Group be your compass and your guide to retirement.
Find us at investwithwmg.com and tune in each week to In the Know Sunday mornings at 10 right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Balance of Nature, changing the world one life at a time.
I'd hear the commercial constantly. You know, you always wonder, is this for real? You know, I said, let me try it. And I've been on it ever since. And I'm not stopping. I'm not stopping. Last summer, we went up into the mountains with the family, and we decided to go into caverns and walk on rocks and stuff like that. And I was all over the place. I said, oh, Grandma's taking her super pills. I said, they're not super pills. They're fruits and vegetables.
Experience the Balance of Nature difference for yourself. To end the month of September, Balance of Nature is offering a 30% discount and free shipping on your first preferred order of Balance of Nature. This special is ending between now and September 30th, so don't wait. Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go to balanceofnature.com and use discount code Chicago.
Blue Emu supports healthy muscles and joints. Blue Emu works fast and you won't stink.
It is 6:36 AM 560 Traffic Center time. Here's Jim Talamonte.
The outbound Eden is heavy from Cicero to Niles Center, where a crash is cleared out of the way. It's 27 minutes. Montrose to Lake Cook, inbound 23. Out to Kennedy, looking at 31 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, 11 from Montrose, 9 on the Express. Outbound 33 minutes to O'Hare. Eisenhower, 42 minutes, 390 to downtown. Outbound, it's 40. Stevenson, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. It's now 49 minutes. Ryan, 28 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 20 minutes. I-80 to the Merch Bishop, 437. Delay is starting at Stifler. Northbound Tri-State, it's now bottled up. The 83rd Street Toll to Hinsdale Oasis. The Reagan Tollway to the Eisenhower. Reagan Tollway 7, York to the Tri-State. It's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center. Breezy, maybe a thunderstorm this morning. We've had some rain. Then partly sunny this afternoon, a high of 78. 65 at O'Hare. Next news coming up at 6:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Don't forget that you can watch Chicago's Morning Answer on the Income Store live video stream every morning at 560theanswer.com.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer.
When did you stop trick-or-treating?
I went trick-or-treating in high school, but I put a white sheet over. I was a ghost.
On AM 560.
Oh,
yeah. Eyes.
Yeah, a ghost. Right, Grand Imperial Wizard.
The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. You heard Mike Scott reporting that State Senator Marty Sandoval's offices and home raided by the feds yesterday.
Oh, no.
Another Chicago Democrat, kleptocrat in the federal crosshairs. Boy, when are we going to get more action there? Quick related story, too. Just another Democrat state senator, because I know the left is very concerned about these things. And I also know that women are to be believed as a matter of course when the allegation involves sexual harassment.
Always, Dan.
State Senator Michael Hastings, Democrat from the South Suburbs. Hey, congratulations, South Suburbs. How's it going? Is being sued by an Olympia Fields trustee named Cassandra Matz. She said the senator harassed and discriminated against her when she served as his chief of staff. Yeah. Hastings' lawyer called the former staffer's claims frivolous, and he said that the senator were troubled by the publicity she has given her claims to leverage a financial windfall. She's just trying to get publicity to get a settlement. Oh, well, I don't know. Hastings, Matz, who is black, complained to Hastings that his treatment of her amounted to harassment. Now, he's white. He placed her on paid administrative paid leave and refer her complaint to the Office of the Senate President for investigation, according to the suit that she filed. Senate officials were unable to corroborate Matz's claims, and they cited limited information available to them as a result of Matz's inability to be reached for an interview. Oh, well, I don't know. I don't know if there's a there or not. I just want the left to abide its own standard when it comes to these things. So I'd love to hear from the Kelly Cassidys and all of the wonderful feminists in the House and the Senate, in Illinois politics, all the way up. I mean, this is a serious claim by a black woman who was a chief of staff to a state senator against a sitting state senator. This should be getting a lot of publicity, a lot of questions being asked. Every Democrat official, starting with Senate President Cullerton, because it was his office to which the complaint was referred by State Senator Michael Hastings. I want everybody to weigh in on this. I want everybody to be inquired about this. I want Ms. Matz given the floor and the presumption of truthfulness, because that's the standard the left has set, isn't it? Or do we exempt the Democrats when it comes to matters like this? Do we want to pump the brakes on the way the Me Too movement has been approached, where we don't look at cases individually or specifically? We organize the posse and we string up the accused before we have a handle on what the evidence does or doesn't indicate. I mean, I just want to know for future reference. Good luck to State Senator Michael Hastings and Miss Matz. I mean, she's a Democrat too. How's that working out for her? Sandoval, Marty Sandoval. This is a fun piece by Mark Brown in the Sun-Times. It's time to throw one of the kleptocrats that the Sun-Times otherwise covers for under the bus because he's become, too heavy. And Sandoval is too heavy in so many ways. It's too bad we can't get State Senator Marty Sandoval to translate for us the meaning of Tuesday's raids on his offices by federal investigators. Yeah. He's referring to the contract Sandoval has with the town of Cicero to provide translation services.
Oh, really?
He translates. He's got a gig. He's had for a long time.
Right.
By the way, I protested that when I was a contractual spokesman for Cicero a decade ago. Long time. He's been a long-time ally of Larry Dominick, the town of Cicero, Mike Delgado, the attorney there, which is all why he also has contracts in places like Melrose Park, where Delgado, the attorney in Cicero, is also the attorney. And he translates English to Spanish because only
What's the name of his company? Uno?
Only a state senator who represents the town could do that in a town that's 80% Latino.
I don't think his services are needed, but all right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Also, is it a conflict to have a contract with a town you represent as an elected official? It's not technically illegal. One would argue, I would, that it should be. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So as I said, had a similar deal with Melrose Park, and that's recently been replaced by the one with the North Berwyn Park District. No, more good government in West Central Cook County.
Well, investigators are looking into allegations Sandoval used his official position, Dan, to steer business to at least one company in exchange for kickbacks.
Yeah, they could be looking at a lot of things we don't know. I mean, because there are so many jars in which Sandoval has had or does have his fat little fingers.
And he does chair the, influential Senate Transportation Committee.
He was a toady of Vic Reyes and HDO back in the day under Daley. He was a flunky that was farmed out to the MWRD to be, waiting for the call to be leveled up as a useful idiot in another chamber. And he finally got it to be a state legislator. And he's practiced the same politics that Vic Reyes, Whispering Vic, as John Cass called him, and HDO practiced with hired truck and everything else under Daley. He's a product of that political organization. But he's an esteemed state senator. And he, as Mark Brown writes, would it surprise you to know that Sandoval is most often associated in Springfield with the phrase, "What's in it for me?" Oh, that's
oh heavens.
That could be true, right? He's hardly alone, isn't he?
Right.
Is he? Is he? Mark. Again, I love the leftists that wring their hands over a kleptocrat who's put in the federal crosshairs while ignoring the kleptocracy that they're a part of. Of course they have to ignore it. That they are absolutely a part of. There is no big government gambit that the communists at the Sun-Times don't support. There is no elevation of politicians based on identity that the Sun-Times' Politburo that masquerades as an editorial board doesn't support. And then how could this happen? And by the way, that corruption works in both directions. There's corruption at the local level that goes up, and the arrow also goes down the state level to the local level because everybody's a kleptocrat. Not everybody, but you know what I'm saying. It's a culture of kleptocrats. And so there is no space unless you have a very good person in your local elective office or in your state legislative office or in your statewide office. You have a person of actual integrity who's not looking for personal enrichment or to, sort of illicitly traffic in the favor economy. It goes in every direction. It poisons everything. There is no place that's inviolate. How could this happen in my town? Please, spare me.
Chicago politicians are keeping FBI agents busy. I mean, think with Kerry Austin, Ed Burke, this.
Please. 219 South Dearborn, the field office for the FBI in Chicago. I'm not impressed. I'm not impressed with the scope or the pace. Marty Sandoval, Danny Solis, Kerry Austin. You could get a bunch of 1Ls at any law school in Chicago and put together cases against these clowns. This is the lowest of low-hanging fruit. And it takes forever.
Well, what about Mike Madigan? When are they going to reach his office?
Mike, on the north side, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hi, I just wanted to explain why the Chicago media bends over backwards for the Chicago machine. Because they're paid little maids and butlers. They get all kinds of little goodies. They get free underground indoor parking at O'Hare Airport. Anytime they go on a flight, they call someone in the mayor's office who calls aviation, who walks over to United or American.
That does not happen.
And listen, and upgrades their tickets. They get free tickets to Bulls games and Blackhawk games because according to the Illinois political code, you're allowed to use your political funds any way you see fit. So they buy these expensive $1,000 a game seats. They hand them out to the press. They get all their parking tickets, all their red light tickets taken care of. And when their career's going down the tubes and no one wants them anymore, they get a spokesman's job with the fire department or the CTA or the sheriff's office.
Thanks for the call, Mike. It is interesting how many former members of the Chicago Press Corps end up working for Democrats, Democrat politicians, agencies, government, units of government headed by Democrats.
I was courted to do that, too.
I have no doubt. I have no doubt. It's also interesting that with respect to some of the benefits, I mean, go back to Scott Faywell's favors list. Remember the George Ryan era? This is kleptocracy. It's not Republican or Democrat. It's just mostly Democrat because they've mostly been in power. Scott Faywell's favors list. Anybody remember that from almost 2 decades ago now? Chief of Staff to George Ryan. Who was on it? Any members of the media? Anybody remember? Rick Pearson was on it. Chicago Tribune's crack political reporter. His wife got a job at the Secretary of State's office per George Ryan. But there's no conflict of interest there.
No, not at all.
And, that conflict of interest, that unethical conduct, and I mean, Rick Pearson traffics in unethical conduct, not to mention a couple of DUIs, that's not enough to get him removed from the Tribune. And so we're supposed to take the Tribune seriously when they trumpet political accountability. What kind of accountability do they have in their organization in terms of the quality of the coverage from a political hack who has sacred cows and cherry-picked stories like Rick Pearson, in addition to his less than redeeming personal conduct, in addition to a conflict of interest like showing up on Scott Faywell's favors list because apparently they thought that they did Rick Pearson a favor when they hired his job at Secretary of State's office, when they hired his wife at Secretary of State's office, I should say. So again, the Sun-Times, the Tribune, the Chicago Press Corps, as if they're any more accountable than the units of government in this state. It is a cabal. It is a bipartisan combine that is not limited to the two parties. It encompasses all of the institutions in Chicago and Illinois. The arts, the media, academia, K through 12 education, and units of government from your mosquito abatement district all the way up to the governor's office.
And Sandoval's a lot like Biden because in 2016 he gave his son, had his son take a community relations job at Pace Suburban Bus Service because he's the transportation committee chairman. So see how that works?
Yeah, I see how it works.
Yeah.
I see how it works.
But he was in charge of a $45 billion construction program.
Paul in Plainfield.
Yeah, hi, Dan. I just wanted to know, why should the feds move faster? Nobody cares. I mean, I'm traveling around the country, and it seems like a lot of Chicagoans are proud of the corruption. They talk about it, right? And the media doesn't care. The citizens don't care. We keep voting these yahoos in. So why should the feds make this priority?
Well, thanks for the call, Paul. I mean, I don't disagree with you with respect to the indifference, apathy, even the perversity of like, yeah, the city that works, we're corrupt. That's part of our brand. It's sort of like the same romanticism that some people have for the mob. I don't understand that either. Thugs, criminals, thieves, scoundrels. However, why should the feds move? I don't know, because it's their job. That's why. Because we pay their salaries to do things like this. No, I mean, I agree. I get the cynicism, what you're suggesting. But, I mean, it'd be nice if some people did their jobs. I don't know. I mean, the hope that so many people have has nothing to do with the political leadership of either party, obviously. Hope people have is that the feds are going to come in here, put everybody in jail so we can start over. So, you're right. It's to some extent, it's unfounded hope, and it's placing too much responsibility on the shoulders of too few federal agents. I understand that point. Speaking of which, Chicago Teachers Union, they could vote to authorize a strike as soon as Friday. How about that?
Yeah.
What do you think? You looking forward to another Chicago teacher strike? 312-642-5600, turnkey answer line. 64636, turnkey.pro, answer line. Or I got that reversed. Turnkey.pro, text line, 64636, of course. Yeah. And Bernie Sanders, no less than Bolshevik Bernie, is in town to rally with the Reds and the Teachers Union.
Yeah, he was there, and guess who he was with? Guess what local actor? John Cusack.
So I'm proud to stand with you guys in solidarity.
Okay, good. Did you see? He's starting to morph into his sister Joan. Honestly, if you see a picture of him. But yeah, Bernie's all ready to go.
What we are seeing is teachers standing up and fighting for justice. Thank you very much.
No, thank you, Bolshevik Bernie.
Thank you.
How about Lori?
Where's Lori?
What about Lori the Lightfoot and all the socialists? They're getting shamed by Bolshevik Bernie.
Yeah, he pretty much shamed her yesterday at the rally.
Boy. Huh. So, again, strike authorization vote began yesterday.
And you have until Thursday to cast your ballot.
Yeah, so they could, the likelihood is they could be out there as soon as next week. Yeah, she, from one friend of mine, teacher friend, said she was given a ballot inside an envelope with her name on the outside, so CTU would know her vote. Exactly. Last time something similar happened, it was a 95% authorization yes. So not a secret ballot. CTU knows your vote, very much in the Chicago way. and expect authorization to strike unless Lori Lightfoot writes a blank check. I mean, she's written a big check, or she wants to write a big check that will bounce. Okay. She's already proposed that, but that's not good enough. Blank check is what the CTU wants, and we'll see if Lori writes it.
16% increase over 5 years. It's what she's offering.
Not enough.
Is amazing. No, what their point of contention, what I keep hearing from my teacher friends is that they need social workers in schools. They need smaller classroom sizes, more teachers.
You understand that those are all talking points that have dollar signs associated with them.
Yeah, I know.
So more employees for more members and more money that has to be expended in addition to, it's always about the money for their employees as well.
It's about the children, Dan.
Yeah.
Remember.
Right.
It's all about the kiddos.
Tom in Deer Park.
Hi, I'm calling in response to the previous caller about why the FBI or anybody doesn't care, and he's spot on. And it's a real small community, I think, that tunes into your show, but how many people I know in my community that don't know who their state rep is, they don't know who their U.S. congressman is. So why the hell should they know who these politicians are or who these members of the media are you mentioned? As H.L. Mencken said, we get what we deserve and we get it good and hard. So that's, people don't care.
Thanks, Tom.
Listen to podcasts of Dan and Amy from the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
The Lou Dobbs Financial Report is brought to you by Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Visit signaturebank.bank for your commercial banking needs.
I'm Lou Dobbs. More than 1 million more workers will now be eligible for overtime. A Fiat Chrysler engineer manipulated diesel emissions, and the FCC is investigating Sprint. Those stories next.
I'm Bobby Richards with today's 1 Minute Money Report. The New York Times recently reported on an unusual way Americans are making money. They found over 10,000 people who broke the golden rule of investing and became millionaires. The stories included people from all walks of life, including writers, professional bowlers, and blues guitarists, even a set of grandparents.
We broke the golden rule of investing and turned $16,000 into $2 million.
And here's one person who agrees with what they're doing, Warren Buffett. He says blindly following Wall Street's golden rule is just protection against ignorance. And Alexander Green, perhaps the top stock picker in America, told his 140,000 followers that if they break this rule, they can retire on just one investment. His video immediately went viral. You can view it for yourself at onestockretirement.com and decide if you should break the golden rule too. Again, that's onestockretirement.com. If your retirement isn't what you want it to be, go see what 10,000 people have already used to become millionaires.
Paid for by Oxford Club.
Over 1 million additional workers are now eligible for overtime pay thanks to a new Trump administration rule. The Labor Department raised the salary level that is exempt from overtime to $35,308 a year. Anyone making less than that will now be paid time and a half for any work over 40 hours. A Fiat Chrysler engineer in a Detroit federal court Tuesday charged with conspiracy and fraud and an alleged scheme to deceive regulators about engine pollution on more than 100,000 vehicles made in the United States. The company agreed to a $650 million settlement covering Jeep, Cherokees, and Ram trucks with diesel engines. The FCC probing why Sprint claimed monthly subsidies for serving 885,000 low-income subscribers who weren't actually using the service. That's a problem. Please join me for Lou Dobbs tonight, 7 o'clock and 10 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
Hi, I'm Alan Bronson. And I'm Bill Cook. All of us at Clear Financial Strategies want to thank you for the overwhelmingly positive response to our previous ads, but the 75% discount on our fiduciary review ends soon. We have good news. You and your employees need not be constrained by one-size-fits-all retirement plans. Working with industry heavyweights like Charles Schwab, the professionals at Clear Financial Strategies will customize a plan that includes the features that best fit your goals, including personal financial planning and all mobile-friendly. Your plan will be managed in a fiduciary-compliant process that puts the day-to-day burden on the shoulders of the professionals at Clear Financial Strategies. We also offer a low-cost, no-transaction fee HSA plan that can mirror your 401k, permitting investments with the first contribution. All this, plus financial wellness and personal advice to help assure retirement readiness. Call now, 855-972-9564. That's 855-972-9564, or go to my401krisks.com.
Don't forget that you can watch Chicago's Morning Answer on the Income Store live video stream every morning at 560theanswer.com.
It's news, opinion, insight. It's AM 560, The Answer. WIND, Chicago.
Hatred and fear. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. President Trump just tweeted that Democrats are frozen by that, adding, no president in the history of our country has been treated so badly.
The actions taken to date by the president have seriously violated the Constitution.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi opened a formal inquiry into impeachment. More than 180 Democrats support that. The top Republican on the Judiciary Committee, Doug Collins, told Fox this is
the perpetration of a fiction among the voters of America. What they want them to believe is they're up here doing something that they're not, simply because they hate this president.
All this over the president's July phone call with Ukraine's leader, and claims that he threatened to withhold military aid if they don't investigate Joe Biden and his son. Well, today we'll see exactly what was said. Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
Dave, a senior administration official tells Fox News there will be a few words in the transcript that will raise eyebrows, but it's nowhere near as inflammatory as Democrats have suggested. 2020 presidential candidate Cory Booker is calling for the full whistleblower report, telling Fox and Friends.
Not doing it is a violation of the law, which says not that the administration may release it, it says they shall release it.
Reuters is reporting the readout is unlikely to be word for word because standard protocol involves witnesses taking notes of presidential conversations with world leaders. Dave?
Well, Rachel, guess who President Trump talks to today at the UN? Ukraine's president. Meanwhile, Iran's president will address the General Assembly earlier. Hassan Rouhani talked to Fox's Chris Wallace, accusing the U.S. of doing what we say Iran does, sponsoring terror.
Wherever America has gone, terrorism has expanded in their wake. Wherever we have gone on the other side, we have defeated terrorism.
Juul Labs CEO Kevin Burns is stepping down. Juul and its e-cigarette business under investigation, while Massachusetts temporarily bans all vaping products amid an outbreak of lung illnesses that sickened more than 500 people. 9 died. The vaping industry blames black market products. America's listening to Fox News. 65 degrees. Skies are cloudy right now. 7:02 on AM 560. The Answer, and good morning. I'm Mike Scott. State Senator Marty Sandoval is in the spotlight after federal agents raided his offices in Chicago Cicero and his personal home on Chicago's southwest side. University of Chicago Medical Center nurses scheduled to return to work today following their first ever strike, but it may not be the end of their clashes with the hospital. About 2,200 University of Chicago medicine nurses went on strike last Friday, a one-day strike, but then nurses were locked out of the hospital for 4 more days while temporary nurses took their place. A teen boy is dead and 3 men are wounded after they were targeted in another Chicago mass shooting, this time on Chicago's west side. Police say the shooting happened last night while the victims were walking near Hoyne and Cullerton. A woman is dead, a man in critical condition, following a shooting and a standoff on Chicago's south side. It happened last night in the 2200 block of East 93rd. The woman barricading herself in a nearby home. The standoff ended around 5 hours later when SWAT teams entered the home and found the woman dead. Democrat presidential hopeful Bernie Sanders taking sides with Chicago Teachers Union members in their fight for a new contract.
Negotiate a good faith contract that is just, that is fair, that treats the teachers and staff in this city with the respect and dignity that they deserve.
The rally held the same day as union members began voting on whether to go on strike. Cubs on the brink of a playoff elimination following a 9-2 loss to the Pirates, while it was the Indians crushing the White Sox 11-zip. The news, a service of LifeLock with Norton. No one wants to wake up to find that they are the victim of identity theft or malware compromises their smartphone. LifeLock with Norton now includes protection for your identity and devices. Limited time offer, 30% off your first year. Ends October 6th. Join at lifelock.com. Use promo code RISK. 7:04, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Tickets for Freedom Summit 2019 sold out in record time in response to the high demand. We've opened up an overflow room for attendees to watch the event on Saturday, November 2nd at the Westin Chicago Northwest. Overflow tickets are on sale now, but are selling fast. Get yours at freedomsummitchicago.com. That's freedomsummitchicago.com. Sponsored in part by Woodland Windows and Doors, Automated Systems Incorporated, Joe Cotton Ford, HealthInsuranceMentors.com, and by Crown Weedy Roofing.
Dell has something extra for small businesses, up to 45% off during their semi-annual sale. It's a perfect time to update to Windows 10 with huge deals on business computers featuring Intel Core processors, plus free shipping on everything. Call Small Business Technology Advisors who can help you achieve your business goals affordably with low monthly payments on the right tech for you. Just call 877-BUY-DELL. That's 877-BUY-DELL or visit Dell.com/business deals for semi-annual savings.
Starting route now. Turn right at Fortress Mountain. Turn left at Mount Hood. Head south to Moab, Utah. Continue on the Great North American Test Drive.
Run with us on a John Deere Gator XUV 835. With our quietest cab ever and optional heat and AC, and a 4-wheel independent suspension, it's built to run where no one else can. Nothing runs like a Deere. Search John Deere Gator for more.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
Hi, I'm Rick Blavelone, second-generation owner and CEO of Marketing Innovators and a customer of Signature Bank. Our family-run company was founded on the belief that connecting to people on a human level is the best way to build a great business. And when we were looking for a new bank, we didn't have to look far. We shared an office building with Signature Bank in Rosemont and quickly saw that they were truly locally owned and operated. That's why we partnered with Signature. And that relationship makes every business decision better and every communication clearer. Marketing Innovators looks forward to a long-lasting relationship with Signature Bank.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
No one wants to wake up to find they're the victim of identity theft or malware is compromising their smartphone. LifeLock with Norton now includes protection for your identity and devices. Limited time offer. Get 30% off your first year. Ends October 6th. Join at lifelock.com. Use promo code RISK.
7:07 AM 560 Traffic Center time, and here is Jim Telemonte.
Indiana Toll Road westbound. The ramp to eastbound 94 is closed for investigation of a major rollover crash. The ramp from northbound I-57 to westbound I-80 is closed due to a collision. We see a traffic jam on Lakeshore Drive, southbound North Avenue to Michigan Avenue, where a crash blocks 2 right lanes. Kennedy, 50 minutes O'Hare to downtown, much quicker than the express. Eisenhower, 58 minutes, 390 to downtown, 43 from Manhunt. Stevenson, an hour and 5 minutes, 355 Lakeshore Drive. Ryan, 32 minutes, 95 to downtown. I-57, 20 minutes, I-83, Bishop Ford, 37 minutes. That's traffic. I'm Jim Telemonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. From our 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center, our meteorologist, Steve Williams.
Today, breezy, a shower or thunderstorm early this morning, then partly sunny today, high 78, partly cloudy tonight, a low of 56. Mostly sunny, nice day tomorrow with a high near 70. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
65 at O'Hare. Next news, 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Watch today's show live right now on the Income Store live video stream at 560theanswer.com.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy and our friends at Judson University in Elgin have another top flight World Leaders Forum event for the Chicagoland region to enjoy. It's October 8th, 7 p.m., the Schomburg Renaissance Conference Center. Tickets available at judson.edu, and we're pleased to be joined in studio by Judson University President Dr. Gene Crume to discuss this upcoming World Leaders Forum. Dr. Crume featuring
Caroline Kennedy, and she will be interviewed by Eric Metaxas. It'll be the second time that we've had Eric on campus, and he's lively, entertaining, and a really good conversationalist, and we look forward to him engaging Ms. Kennedy.
Yeah, last time Metaxas was on campus, we were on
Right,
campus,
we were.
and we talked to our friend Eric, and that was when he had just put out the Trump children's book, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that was fun. No, I mean, Metaxas is a dizzying intellect and a fun guy, and so hopefully he'll be able to transfer some of his excess intellect and fun to Caroline Kennedy.
Yeah. Why did you choose Caroline Kennedy this year?
Well, after our experience with Eric, as we were looking through and trying to sort through a variety of speakers to invite, Eric has a program called Socrates in the City.
Yeah, it's great.
Normally at King's College in New York.
Yeah.
And he took one on the road to Dallas, Texas, and he shared with us he would love to bring it to Chicago. So we thought with the platform we already had with the forum, it was a perfect fit, and so far it's going very well. So if all goes well, we hope for this to be a series with Eric here in Chicago with his Socrates in the City program.
Yeah, that's great. The Socrates in the City, if you haven't seen it, go on YouTube or Metaxas' site and check some of them out, because that'll give you a flavor of what the Caroline Kennedy event will be. And he always gets a lot out of his subjects, and that's what makes for interesting discourse and interesting events. So I'm sure this will be of that kind. And then, of course, you can ask Caroline Kennedy about the prospect of Joe Kennedy being challenging Ed Markey in Massachusetts in that Senate primary.
Exactly, and in fact, her daughter Tatiana supported Markey.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Right.
Because he supported the new Green Deal. So in her new book that just came out, she was rather.
Oh my gosh. So she's going to
positive
be
in her praise.
torn between Green New Deal and her family.
Such that the Kennedys are in that position.
Wow,
yes,
boy.
I think so.
That's something. So, but Caroline, I mean, going back, just thinking about the other speakers you've had at your World Leaders Forum, and I've been at a number of the events, Condi Rice, George W. Bush, President George W. Bush, Felipe Calderon, former Mexican president. So it's always, I mean, Judson University is a Christian university, but it always spans sort of the political spectrum, which is great. Why Caroline Kennedy? How does she fit into the mission of World Leaders Forum?
Well, we had a lot of success with Howard Dean and Newt Gingrich. And people really appreciated having both sides of a story told, and told well. I think that's the more important part of it. People sharing thoughts and ideas and perspectives, but doing so in a way that's respectful and dignified, and you can actually understand the arguments and the conversation. And so with that, as we were talking with Eric and his folks, on his list, Caroline Kennedy was one of those, and we thought that format of having two different philosophical perspectives would complement each other. And it just seems with our discourse in the country right now, living in a Twitter world, people are clamoring for more dialogue instead of just 60 words or 120 words and
side by side. I really
Right.
like the idea of putting ideas side by side so people can assess them in context rather than in silos. We did this. I mean, I'm not auditioning us, but we did this here last year when I debated Donna Brazile.
Exactly right.
And it was
Right.
fun. And we obviously disagreed on almost everything. But it was fun, and she was cordial and affable, and we had a good time.
And so were you. You were cordial and affable.
That's
Sometimes it's not the words to describe you, but it was not a.
Those really aren't my strong
contentious
suits,
evening.
those qualities. But yeah, I tried.
And you've had Tony Blair as one of your speakers,
Yeah, right.
and Mikhail Gorbachev. So you've had some huge names.
We have,
come
and what's
through.
interesting about our speakers and the names that you just mentioned, one of the criticisms that we face continually is our speakers are too conservative.
Gorbachev.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And Tony Blair. And,
Yeah.
and actually, we received quite a bit of that when Tony Blair was on campus. And I think the perspective was they align him with George W. Bush on the war in Iraq, and
Right.
they perceived that. But clearly, they didn't understand his political policies or his progressive nature.
Yeah.
But I think we've had a great mix of
Oh, yeah.
perspectives and philosophies, and that's what makes the forum work.
And you're not going to get any pushback with Caroline Kennedy.
Oh, we've already got a complaint.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, tell me.
And so
Tell
our
us about it.
marker really is if nobody complains, we've got the wrong speakers.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
right.
good.
That's generally, I think, a pretty good sign. And so some of our more conservative friends have felt that we're kind of selling out by inviting someone like that to the stage. I guess they overlooked Eric Metaxas being part of the conversation.
Yeah.
But we receive that on every speaker. The only speakers we haven't, we also have the Inspiration Series. So we've had Mary Lou Retton, Nick Vujicic, people like that. That's the only speaker series on the inspirational side that people seem to have accept because of the nature of it. But
Yeah.
on the forum, when it comes to politics, people take a clear opinion that we're either not doing the right job, and we're not inviting the right people.
Well, for the left, if it's not like 15 leftists for every conservative, then that's out of balance. Take a step back and sort of give us some perspective on Judson University's vision for this World Leaders Forum. What was the genesis of it, and why did you think this was important, and this could be something that was a real difference maker and value adder in Chicagoland?
Well, the program got started thanks to a former trustee and alumnus, Kevin No, who lives in Colorado. And Kevin's vision, working with the Board of Trustees, was to invite world-class speakers to campus to serve as a fundraiser to support entrepreneurial activities and scholarships for students. And Kevin did a great job those first several years of working with the program. When I arrived as president, Tony Blair was the first speaker that I encountered, and we decided let's grow this and offer different product lines, which would be the Inspiration Series and now Conversations with Mark Vargas, which is what brought Mark Cuban to campus. And so with that, it's now a separate 501c3 entity with its own board, and it runs complement to Judson. But it really does. It's become a branding identity piece in the Chicagoland area. Oftentimes when I share with folks I'm president of Judson, I'll get a couple responses. They'll ask about the RISE program, the program we have for intellectually differently abled students, or they'll say, "Oh, hey, are you all the one that brings all the world leaders to Elgin?" And that tells you that it resonates with folks and it has helped create awareness.
It's interesting that when people ask about Northwestern or Chicago, that's not something that comes to mind. But Judson University is sort of like, oh yeah, you're the institution of higher learning that's doing higher learning. That's doing intellectual debate on campus, and oh yeah, that's how we can separate you from all the other colleges and universities around here.
So Judson University, for those who aren't familiar with it, what's your student enrollment like, and how is it going this year?
Yeah, we're at 1,225 students. We have about 550 to 60 that live on campus. Programmatically phenomenal.
It's a beautiful campus.
Thank you. We've got a great faculty and staff, and as you all know from being there, 90 acres right on the Fox River, beautiful location. Dan was on campus last week. I was sharing with him. Doing business in the state of Illinois is perhaps one of the more challenging environments I've worked in.
Yeah.
But the programmatic side, what our faculty do, what our students do is pretty remarkable. And, given the size school we are, to have a fully accredited architecture program that is essentially tied with Minnesota for passing rates on the licensure exam for architects ahead of IIT, ahead of University of Illinois, ahead of Notre Dame. We're a school of both and. We're a school both of academic excellence and an opportunity for first-generation college students to go to college.
The doing business in Illinois piece, talk a little bit more about that, because it's one thing for me to recite the data about college-bound high school seniors leaving Illinois. It's another thing for a university president to talk about real-world experiences running a university and trying to attract students to a good school in the region and competing. You're up in Elgin competing, locally, not just in Illinois, but in Wisconsin in particular. What's the result of that? What's the experience? What is that challenge?
Well, part of the challenge from a business perspective is that the out-migration is real. All the demographics point to by 2035, there will be 15% less 18-year-olds interested in going to college in Illinois. And that
number.
Market share in any industry would devastate an industry, a whole business sector. So finding resiliency to open up new markets, to move into new locations, partner with other schools, do things more creatively. And at times, the state becomes an impediment to that because of the politics. Certainly the MAP funding in years past complicated that a great deal, legislative mandates. Even things that people think that are seemingly innocuous, like increasing the minimum wage and not excluding certain categories of nonprofits, has an impact. There's only so many student jobs we can offer at $15 an hour, whether people want to believe in those economics or not. And so it's just a matter of working through those. But the economics of the higher education business are not going to get any easier because there's not any organic growth in the market. But we've got a plan and a very resilient campus. And we also have an adult program that's both in Elgin and in Rockford. And for a school our size, we also have graduate degrees and a doctoral program. So we've done a great job with the board and faculty and previous leadership in diversifying who we are as an institution, but staying true to our faith mission, and wanting to remain purposefully a small liberal arts college where we focus on things like debate and conversation and helping people grow as a person and intellectually.
And you also have sports teams, too.
We do. Yeah, we have a full complement of sports. I think we play in one of the toughest NAIA conferences in the United States. And
who do you guys play against? Oh, sorry.
We play against Robert Morris, Trinity International, Trinity Christian, Cardinal Stritch. It's a pretty wide footprint, actually. A couple of schools in Indiana. And that's a lot of really good competition. We just added football, so we'll start fall of 21, and that's the Mid-States Football Conference. And again, it's a really tough conference.
Dan could be your coach, football coach, huh, Dan?
No, I don't.
Offensive line
Maybe
coach?
golf
No.
coach.
Golf,
Maybe
yeah.
I could do
golf
that.
coach.
I could
So
do
you have a
that.
golf team?
We
too?
do, men's and women's golf team, yeah.
Yeah, I could do that. I think I still have some eligibility, too.
You probably do,
I
certainly.
maybe I'll...
It's back to
Certainly if
school
you're
for
interested in
Dan
another
Brown.
master's
I'll be a
degree.
player coach.
Yeah.
But,
I
Amy's
like
got volleyball players, so,
Yeah, there
you know,
you
that's...
Pipeline from Chicago to Judson for
Exactly,
volleyball. That's
exactly.
right. He is Dr. Gene Kroom. He's the president at Judson University. The World Leaders Forum event featuring Caroline Kennedy and Eric Metaxas is October 8th at 7 p.m. at the Schaumburg Renaissance Conference Center. Go to judson.edu for tickets. Dr. Kroom, thanks always for joining us. Appreciate
Thanks,
it.
Dan. Thanks, Amy. Appreciate it.
The more you listen, the more you'll know. This is Chicago's Morning Answer. Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
When John Mariotti started Woodland Windows and Doors in 1969, he knew that relationships were important. He knew that he needed to look out for his customers' best interests. Today, Woodland is run by the second and third generation of Mariottis, who continue to build great relationships and to service their customers. When it's time to replace your windows and doors, trust your Marvin retailer, Woodland Windows and Doors, to guide you through the process. They have a huge selection of Marvin replacement windows and doors, specialists who know their stuff, and professional installation. Homeowners and builders turn to Woodland Windows and Doors for the individual attention they get on each project. Every job is unique. Every job is done right. That's why for 50 years, they've trusted Woodland Windows and Doors with their projects. Woodland Windows and Doors, your Marvin authorized installing retailer, provides the perfect solution and professional installation. They're online at woodlandwindows.com or stop by the Woodland Windows and Doors showroom at the corner of Lake and Gary in Roselle.
Hey, our listeners have helped build MyPillow into the amazing company that it is today. And now the CEO and inventor of MyPillow, Mike Lindell, wants to give back. He's offering deep discounts on all MyPillow products by going to MyPillow.com and click on the new radio listener specials box. Type in Amy in that promo code, and guess what? You'll get a body pillow, which is normally $89.99 for only $29.99. And all products come with a 60-day money-back guarantee and a 10-year warranty. MyPillow.com, click on the radio listener special box and type in Amy, and you'll get 30% off mattress toppers and those Giza cotton sheets. MyPillow.com.
The truth about church-state separation. This is Law and Justice with Jay Sekulow.
When an argument goes before the court, separation church and state, can't we just whip out a copy of the Constitution and say, look, it ain't in there?
Yeah, you know, the problem is the reason they can get away with this oftentimes is they get sympathetic judges. Now, that's changing. President Bush has got a number of conservative judicial nominees through, and I think that helps. But having said that, look, they get judges to buy along this, to buy this lie that the church-state separation means government and you can't even accommodate religious practices or beliefs. That's never was the intent of the founding generation, but they've got judges that have agreed with it. But you're right. If you look at the Constitution, the word separation of church and state does not appear. The Establishment Clause does, and you don't want to have government setting up a religion or religious organization in the sense of a government-controlled entity.
Find out more at aclj.org. That's aclj.org.
Oh, the weather is changing. It's getting cooler outside. It's getting darker earlier. Have you noticed? And the leaves have started falling. Yes, autumn is upon us. And for you, that may mean a drop in your energy level. Maybe you're having trouble sleeping, or maybe you have seasonal allergies. No matter how you're feeling, we all know you're not getting enough fruits and vegetables in your diet. Pumpkin spice isn't a vegetable, folks. So it's time to get healthy and take Balance of Nature. 6 capsules of Balance of Nature. With that, you're getting 10 servings of 31 different fruits and veggies. You hear stories right here on the station about how Balance of Nature has changed people's lives, and the next story could be yours. But you've got to order Balance of Nature today. Experience the Balance of Nature difference for yourself. Until the end of September, Balance of Nature is offering a 30% discount and free shipping on your first preferred order of Balance of Nature. This offer will end on September 30th, so do not wait. Go to balanceofnature.com, use the discount code Chicago, or call 800-246-8751. That's 800-246-8751.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, have you seen the new Joaquin Phoenix Joker movie? You planning on it?
I saw the trailer for it. It looks pretty good.
Joaquin Phoenix, brilliant actor. A man's descent into madness and then violent rampage. This is being criticized in a number of circles as being a dangerous movie. It's dangerous. Shouldn't be seen. Maybe it shouldn't be made. Joaquin Phoenix, in an interview about the film, responding to those who are decrying the movie as dangerous, as in unsafe for the American public.
I don't think it's the responsibility of a filmmaker to teach the audience morality or the difference between right or wrong. I mean, to me, I think that's obvious. I think if you have somebody that has that level of emotional disturbance, I think that they can find fuel anywhere. And so I just don't think that you can function that way. I mean, the truth is, you don't know what is going to be the fuel for somebody, and it might very well be your question. It might be this moment, right? But you can't function in life saying, well, I can't ask that question for the small chance that somebody might be affected by that question, right? I wouldn't ask you to do that, right? I wouldn't ask you to censor yourself. It's uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable for all of us. I think we all are aware of these issues and we're concerned, and I think that's why we talk about it. And I don't think that we can be afraid to talk about it.
What about in an era of mass shootings and some involving people that have previous mental breaks? Should a movie like Joker be made? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. 646-368, turnkey.pro text line. Seems like Joaquin Phoenix thinks it should.
Well, this all started, too, because the parents, relatives of people who were killed in the 2016 shooting inside that Aurora, Colorado movie theater,
Right.
who were watching the movie Batman, they sent a letter to Warner Brothers asking them to yank it.
Right.
Because they feel that the character, the Joker, has a sympathetic origin story, and they don't like that.
They
don't like the violence.
Should it be yanked?
I don't think it should be yanked. I mean, if you can't control yourself, maybe you should go see the movie. This is just strange. This society that we're living in now, they're attacking Hollywood films.
No, you don't understand. People that are mentally imbalanced could get access to the movie. And this could be the trigger that leads them to commit a violent act. So that means you have to ban the movie, right?
When we learned that Warner Brothers was releasing a movie that presents the character as a protagonist with a sympathetic origin story, it gave us great pause. That's what 5 of the family members.
That's not, I haven't seen the movie yet, but that's other reviewers who've addressed that characterization, dispute the characterization. But even if that was the characterization, let's say it's accurate. And?
There's violence in every movie.
No, but this is very particular. This is much more likely to trigger somebody who is mentally imbalanced with violent tendencies, and thus the movie should be prohibited. The movie shouldn't be distributed, right? Isn't that right? Because as I understand it from the left, now Joaquin Phoenix is breaking with the left here, and I wonder if he even knows it. Because Joaquin Phoenix is saying, wait a second, I shouldn't be held accountable. I shouldn't have my rights restricted.
Yeah, because he has a right to a freedom to speech.
I shouldn't have my rights restricted because of the harm someone else might commit. So I just want to understand. I want to understand the standard here. I shouldn't have my rights impinged upon because of the harm someone else might do. Does that apply only to the freedom of speech? And then there are 4 other freedoms enshrined in the First Amendment, and then there's that pesky Second Amendment.
Don't bring that up, Dan.
So, yeah. I mean, again, the existence of this movie, the possibility that a mentally unbalanced person with violent tendencies could get his hands on this movie, could see this movie, could walk into a theater, and then who knows what. And how could we live with ourselves if we allowed that to happen? So ban the movie. Isn't that the philosophy? Do I have the logic right as it applies to other rights? Bill in Edison Park, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, good morning. They could just do extensive background checks and give them a little ticket that says that I've been background checked so I can go in there. Just imagine Pritzker can hire like 700 people that can do the background checks throughout the state, and they can go see the movie.
Thanks, Bill. Mo on the Northwest Side.
Yeah, if you start making decisions based on feelings which are totally subjective, based on how your surroundings, your demographic area, how you feel about things, then we're going in the wrong direction. I mean, there's no reason why anyone should try to dictate to someone else on what they shouldn't be watching because they might or might not want to punch someone in the face or might want to grab a gun and shoot someone. I mean, we can't start going down in that direction. It makes no sense.
Yeah, I know. I agree. Thanks for the
in
call,
the letter
Mo.
they wrote-
Unfortunately, we have gone down that direction.
Right, and they wrote in the letter, with great power comes great responsibility. Almost as if, they're being fraudulent for creating the film and then,
they're being
distributing the film.
irresponsible. They're being irresponsible. So, I mean, this is,
It's a movie.
This is the road. This is the road. Feelings are morality, and there is no balance between freedom and order. I mean, I feel terrible for families who lost someone or had someone injured in that shooting in Aurora, obviously. But does that mean that Joaquin Phoenix shouldn't be able to make movies, or that they must pass their review in order to be distributed? No, I don't think so.
Warner Brothers.
I just want Hollywood to hear the argument and understand that the principle at play here is not limited to your free expression rights. That's the real takeaway here. You don't want to go down the road of having people say the Joker can't be distributed because somebody might receive it in a way that prompts them to commit some violent act. Then understand how that principle applies to other rights and the rights of people not named Joaquin Phoenix, not in your little Hollywood bubble. That's the point.
And basically, Warner Brothers responded saying that, they believe gun violence is a major issue. And we as a company have a long history of donating to victims of violence, including
blah,
Aurora.
Blah, blah, blah.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We'll move from corporate pantywaist to Trump's talk on trade in front of the UN General Assembly with Steve Moore at 7:37.
And later, why did President Trump withhold aid from Ukraine? But first, let's get into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
65 degrees. Formal impeachment inquiry has been launched against President Trump.
The Intelligence Community Inspector General formally notified the Congress that the administration was forbidding him from turning over a whistleblower complaint on Constitution Day. This is a violation of law.
Democrat Adam Schiff, chairman of the House Intelligence Committee, says the whistleblower that Washington's been talking about for days is apparently willing to talk to the House Intelligence Committee.
To once again try to get foreign help by getting Ukraine to manufacture dirt on his opponent. I think that compels us to travel down the road towards impeachment, so I fully support the Speaker's decision.
President Trump says the Secretary of State has received permission from Ukraine's government to release transcripts of phone calls between the president and Ukraine's president. The July phone call is the center of reports that the president tried to pressure Ukraine's leader to investigate Joe Biden and his son, Hunter. British Prime Minister Boris Johnson says Brexit needs to get done no matter what.
And frankly, I think we need to get on with Brexit. That's the overwhelming view of the British people. Whether they voted to leave or remain, they want to get this thing done by October the 31st. And that's what we're going to do.
The embattled Johnson says he strongly disagrees with a British Supreme Court ruling that he did not follow the law when he suspended Parliament for 5 weeks. Lots of cleanup in Wisconsin today near the town of Wheaton. Sheriff in Chippewa County saying a tornado touched down last night. A teen boy is dead, 3 others wounded. They were targeted in yet another Chicago mass shooting, this time on the west side. It happened last night while the victims were walking near Hoyne and Cullerton. A 17-year-old boy shot in the groin, pronounced dead. Another victim in very critical condition. Chicago sports. Cubs lost to the Pirates 9-2, while the Indians beat the White Sox 11-zip. The news service of Circle K. You know what the price of gas is right now? Well, it doesn't matter how many dollars and who cares cents. Get the Easy Pay card at Circle K and save 30 cents a gallon on your first 100 gallons. Then save 6 cents a gallon on every fill-up after that. Sign up in-store and visit CircleK.com/EasyPay for more details. 7:35 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560, The Answer.
Mike Gallagher says the president just keeps delivering.
One would think minorities of all kinds would be loving the jobs numbers. I mean, this so-called racist president just keeps delivering economic gains for black Americans, for Asians, for women. A whopping 6.3 million jobs have been created during the Trump administration. Now, does that count for anything?
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
Want your home's furnace to stay safe and reliable? And want to prevent any potential problems before they happen? At your local 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning, we recommend an annual furnace inspection and tune-up. Right now, get big savings on a furnace tune-up. Call 855-1-HOUR. Because not taking care of your furnace, that's just cold.
Your comfort is just a call away. Call 1 Hour.
Terms and conditions may apply. Call for details. Independently owned and operated. Licensed in the respective state or county.
No matter how long it's been, when you're back together, you still get that good old-fashioned feeling. Even though you've been apart, it's as though you've never left. That's right. Football season is back.
Reignite your spark right here on the Husky Sports Network.
Your NIU Huskies battle the Vanderbilt Commodores this Saturday morning at 11 on your home for the Huskies. AM 560, The Answer.
Hi, Barry Sterner, founder of your #1 home mortgage company, Townstone Financial. Want to close your loan quickly? Want to work with a company with the newest technologies in the mortgage business and get all this with great rates and low closing costs? Then look no further. The answer is Townstone.com. What else does Townstone currently have? How about the low interest rate Home Ready program and Home Possible for home purchases that come with free appraisals? We are also obtaining appraisal waivers on many types of refinances and purchases for conventional loans, which will save you over $450 in closing costs. Don't want to find your bank statements or pay stubs? Well, with our new technology, we can obtain these in many cases without you lifting a finger. Remember, it doesn't matter if you're searching for a jumbo mortgage, FHA, VA, or even a reverse mortgage. I guarantee no one is going to beat Townstone's interest rates and low closing costs, and I own the company. So give us a call now at 312-896-2110 because nobody values your home purchase and refinance business more than Townstone.com. That's TOWNSTONE.com.
Townstone Financial is licensed in Indiana, Michigan, Wisconsin, Florida, NMLS 136639, www.nmlsconsumeraccess.org. Equal housing lender.
7:37 AM 560 traffic center time. Jim Talamonte.
Indiana Toll Road eastbound and westbound ramps to eastbound 94 closed for major crash investigation. Northbound I-57 is jammed from 30 to I-80. The ramp to westbound 80 is closed due to a crash. Farther north, I-57 is running from I-80 to the merge. About 20 minutes. They should forward 37 minutes. Eden's 28 minutes. Lake Cook to the junction. Kennedy, 55 minutes. O'Hare to downtown. Heavier the express. Eisenhower, an hour and 5 minutes. 390 to downtown. 50 minutes from Manheim. Stevenson, an hour 5. 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Ryan, 32 minutes from 95th. Reagan tollway delays are Farnsworth much of the way to 355 and 83 to the Tri-State. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next in our 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center. Breezy day ahead. Morning showers and maybe a pop-up thunderstorm through the midday. Then partly sunny for the afternoon, high 78. Currently 65. Next news coming up at 8. And Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Retire Chicago. Tune in Saturday mornings at 8 to Retire Chicago with John McNamara of McNamara Capital.
If
you're looking for the latest news, insight into what it means, and the sharpest opinion, there's only one station in Chicago where you can turn, and it's this one. We're AM 560. The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. Speaking of Trump and impeachment and Ukraine and the transcript of the phone call that's going to be released today and the whistleblower complaint that will be turned over to congressional intel committees. Hey, remember that time when 3 Democrat U.S. senators wrote to the Ukrainian inspector general demanding they investigate Trump?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, remember that? Oh, remember when Dick Durbin, yeah, our very own Secretary Durbin, Pat Leahy and Robert Menendez back on May 4th of last year wrote to Yuri Lutsenko, "Dear Mr. Prosecutor General, we're writing to express great concern about reports that your office has taken steps to impede cooperation with the investigation of United States Special Counsel Robert Mueller," and so on and so forth, and questions. And they have 3 questions that they want answered. So I'm sorry, 3 Democrat senators interceding on behalf of the Mueller investigation and trying to pressure, I'm using that word, the magic word, pressure the Ukrainian prosecutor general to investigate Trump. So are we to impeach Pat Leahy, Bob Menendez, and Dick Durbin? I mean, I'm all for that, just as a matter of principle. But I mean, on this basis? Huh. Isn't that fascinating? Should be an interesting impeachment gambit that Pelosi has set the House upon. Impeachment or bust? Or impeachment and bust in 2020 for congressional Democrats and whoever the socialists they nominate to be their presidential standard bearer. President Trump had other things to do yesterday in addition to respond to the frenzy on the Hill. One of them was to address the UN General Assembly, and he had a general message about putting your country's interests first. The future belongs to sovereign nations, not world government and globalists, he essentially said. But he also had specific messages. Earlier in the show, we provided the specific messages he delivered between the eyes of the Iranian delegation, of the Venezuelan delegation. He also had a very specific message for China and a specific example of the problem he has with China's trade policies.
Not only has China declined to adopt promised reforms, it has embraced an economic model dependent on massive market barriers, heavy state subsidies, currency manipulation, product dumping, forced technology transfers, and the theft of intellectual property, and also trade secrets on a grand scale. As just one example, I recently met the CEO of a terrific American company, Micron Technology, at the White House. Micron produces memory chips used in countless electronics. To advance the Chinese government's 5-year economic plan, a company owned by the Chinese state allegedly stole Micron's designs, valued at up to $8.7 billion. Soon, the Chinese company obtains patents for nearly an identical product, and Micron was banned from selling its own goods in China. But we are seeking justice. The United States lost 60,000 factories after China entered the WTO. This is happening to other countries all over the globe. The World Trade Organization needs drastic change. The second largest economy in the world should not be permitted to declare itself a developing country in order to game the system at others' expense. Hopefully, we can reach an agreement that will be beneficial for both countries. But as I have made very clear, I will not accept a bad deal for the American people.
For more on this, we're pleased to be joined by our friend Steve Moore, economist, Wall Street Journal columnist, author of Trumponomics, Inside the America First Plan to Revive Our Economy. Steve, did Trump strike the right notes with respect to China, essentially suggesting that the WTO should get its act together and sanction China?
Well, good morning, Dan. And by the way, I rest my case. You know, you and I have been having this argument for the last year or so on this show, and I've been taking Trump's side. And I thought that was a great passage from Trump. I agreed with just about everything he said there. I mean, China does cheat. They do steal. They are. We do continue to treat them like they're a developing country and they're the second largest economy in the world. And we're in an abusive relationship, and it has to change. And so I thought he did a very nice job there. Thank you for taking my side in this debate.
Well,
yeah, but when is change going to come, and how is that going to be facilitated?
Well, okay, but look, I mean, he's right about the WTO. The WTO is the most feckless organization ever. I mean, I talked to some of my free trade friends at Cato and other places, and they say, oh, my gosh, all we have to do is take our case to the WTO. I'm like, come on. I mean, if the WTO had any teeth and any backbone, China would have been evicted from the WTO 10 years ago. I mean, China cheats on every and violates every aspect of WTO trading rules. So, and I'm with Trump. I mean, the one thing I disagree with him a little bit about in that passage was, I'm in favor of any kind of decent deal that he can get right now because this is going to be an important election, and I don't want to see a socialist or a Stalinist elected president. And so I do think, once he can get some kind of deal done with China, the economy is going to explode. It's the only thing that's holding back this incredible economy. And let me just say one quick other thing. You started this conversation by talking about Ukraine and the impeachment. Look, if Democrats want to get rid of Donald Trump, there's a very easy way to do that, right? In a little over 12 months, they can do that at the ballot box. But they have no confidence they can beat him because they lost to him the last time. And so they want to try to evict him from office through an impeachment hearing. Why not just beat him? And the answer is because they know they can't beat him. And certainly none of those fools on the stage that they've got right now can beat Trump. And by the way, I lived through the Clinton impeachment, and I always thought it was a mistake. And one of the reasons it never went anywhere is people liked the way the economy was going under Clinton, and so they said, we don't want to get rid of this guy. And I think that's going to be the same thing with Trump.
Well, the other thing it does too is there's an opportunity cost to be paid if Pelosi pursues impeachment, and she threw the gauntlet down. She almost has to now. Then that sidelines everything else. Then you're not going to get a trade deal, U.S. Canada trade deal approved. You're not going to move on any other issue, and that's not perhaps going to set well with the electorate if the Republicans play it right.
Well, but you're exactly right about that. But look, the Democrats don't have an agenda anyway. I mean, there's nothing that they want to pass. There's nothing. They should pass the USMCA. I mean, that is the single best step we could take right now in terms of our trade war with China, is to unify North America against the villainous Chinese. But I think it's 50-50 at best that Nancy Pelosi is even going to bring that to a vote. But, I listened to her agenda. I listened to the agenda of Joe Biden. I listened to the agenda of, Elizabeth Warren. I can't think of a single thing that they have proposed in the last 2 years that is good for jobs, good for the economy, good for, keeping this economy booming. So they don't want to talk about these things because they're loser issues for them.
Well, why do you think President Trump withheld aid from Ukraine?
Well, why do I think?
Yeah, why did President Trump withhold aid from Ukraine? Because he gave a few different answers yesterday.
Look, that's a great question, Amy, and I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. And look, I'm not defending Trump on this. I did think it smells bad. And I think, is it today that when are they going to release the transcript?
Well, that's what I read today, but we don't know exactly what time.
I thought they said sometime in the very. Look, I think Trump is. I agree with the Wall Street Journal's editorial yesterday. He's going to have to release that transcript, and the American people will decide for themselves from that transcript whether they think this was some kind of a. It smells bad to me. I can't defend that. I mean, I think that it could be an abuse of power. I don't know. I haven't heard the transcript, and we'll see. But I think that the Democrats are certainly rushing to judgment here when they don't even know what's said in the conversation.
And they're also going to release the whistleblower complaint today, the White House is.
Yeah.
Well, I have to say, I also agree with the Wall Street Journal editorial on this as well. That do we really want the operatives in the government who are basically revealing private conversations the president has with foreign leaders? I mean, that's as they said, would we want a whistleblower to record the conversations that John F. Kennedy was having with Khrushchev during the Cuban Missile Crisis? I mean, there has to be a way the president can have some privacy. And I don't think that conversation and this revelation is protected by the Whistleblower Act, by the way.
Let's get back to economics, since you're an economist. Finland. This is such a fascinating case study. I wish these stories would get more attention in America. Finland does not have a nationally appointed minimum wage. Instead, the country has practiced collective bargaining since the 70s. About 90% of the workforce is involved in a collective bargaining unit. A business group has proposed a national minimum wage. Labor in Finland is opposed to a minimum wage because the labor organizations say a set minimum wage would enforce a price floor. They say essentially that would provide downward pressure on wages that were otherwise finally negotiating in an adversarial process with management, trade unions and management, collective bargaining situation. Labor in Finland doesn't want a minimum wage, and yet everybody here, Republicans conceded, even though they know it's bad economics, and of course the socialists think they're being compassionate by ever trying to increase it.
Well, you know my view on the minimum wage. I think it is a terrible policy. I don't think the government should ever set prices or wages in any industry, and I think it does cost jobs. But I also believe, Dan and Amy, and I wonder what you think about this, I'm very much in favor of allowing unions to exist and allowing unions to band together, represent workers. The only objection I have to unions, other than the corruption, and we're seeing a lot of corruption from the union bosses, is the fact that the unions want to force people to join the union. And why is it that here we are in the year 2019 and Illinois still forces its workers to join a union against their will? That is a violation of their economic rights and their human rights. And their constitutional rights. You should never ever be able to force somebody to join an organization they don't want to join.
He is Steve Moore, economist, Wall Street Journal columnist, author of Trumponomics, Inside the America First Plan to Revive Our Economy. Steve, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Have a great week, guys.
Take care.
Thanks. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
There's only one radio show in Chicago talking about today's biggest stories and telling you what they really mean. That show is this one, Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
Balance of Nature. Changing the world, one life at a time.
One thing that is phenomenal, I had a very strong numbing sensation in my left shoulder, and it was getting worse and worse. And when you're getting older, things like that don't go away. They just don't. Well, guess what? It's gone. Totally gone. And I can only attribute it to fruits and veggies, because there's no way that something like that is going to just plain be G-O-N-E, gone. No way.
Experience the Balance of Nature difference for yourself. To end the month of September, Balance of Nature is offering a 30% discount and free shipping on your first preferred order of Balance of Nature. This special is ending between now and September 30th, so don't wait. Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Picture your son after his first year of college. What kind of man do you hope to see? A noble young man who commits to do the right thing simply because it's the right thing. Northridge Prep builds that kind of man. At an open house on Sunday, October 20th, see what makes Northridge Prep the #1 all-boys and #4 best Catholic school in Illinois, according to niche.com. My friends who send their sons to Northridge Prep rave about it. They say it challenges their sons, both academically and to be men of character. It's a good place to be a boy. Northridge Prep is an all-independent boys' school for grades 6 through 12. Their all-AP and honors curriculum produces men who think for themselves. Think for themselves. Graduates attend the best universities, including the Ivy League. All the teachers are role models. Nearly half attended a top 20 university. So don't miss Northridge Prep's open house on Sunday, October 20th. Register online at northridgeprep.org. That's northridgeprep.org.
Is this your situation? Cellular or data services are bad inside your building or vehicle? People notice. People complain. This is Kelly Piles. My company is PC Net Services. We can fix that annoying problem. Resolving this is not as complicated or as expensive as you might think, but it does make a difference. I have worked with the largest cellular providers in the nation. We could improve your cellular and data signal inside your building with all major carriers. No more dropped calls, no more complaints. First responders, government agencies, and business owners have used us to get a better signal inside their building. We can do the same for you. PC Net Services, a service-disabled, veteran-owned small business connecting you to the world.
Get better cell service in your building, no matter which carrier. For a free analysis, call PC Net Services, 815-545-4439. 815-545-4439.
Doors or windows sticking, uneven floors. How about your drywall? Is it cracking? Well, many homeowners across Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana are experiencing the symptoms of structural issues. Are you aware that these indicators can be signs of damage to your home's foundation? And all too often, homeowners pay an expensive consultation fee just to determine the problem. Don't be one of them. Call Permaseal today at 800-421-SEAL. A certified structural consultant will thoroughly evaluate your foundation and offer you a permanent solution at absolutely no charge. For over 40 years, Permaseal has been committed to providing quality, proven products, and the superior customer service that you deserve. When the work is done, my friends, you'll have a transferable warranty along with priceless peace of mind. You know who to call. Permaseal, 800-421-SEAL. That's 800-421-7325, or go to permaseal.net.
You hear that? The slopes are calling. Adjust your altitude at the 2019 Windy City Ski and Snowboard Show, the Midwest premier show, September 27th through the 29th at the Schaumburg Convention Center. Save up to 70% off retail on over $1 million of clothing, gear, and accessories in a massive super sale area. Check out the latest gear from dozens of top names: Salomon, Rossignol, Libtech, Technica, Burton, Marker, and more. Meet with reps from the top Midwest and Western ski resorts: Telluride, Big Sky, Alpine Valley, Devil's Head, Crystal Mountain, Wilmot Resort, Ski Brule, Ski Utah, and more. Kids 12 and under are free, plus free parking. Buy tickets online and get all the details at WindyCitySkiAndSnowboardShow.com. Paid admission includes a free lift ticket, plus 2-for-1 lift ticket offers. Restrictions apply. See website for details. September 27th through the 29th at the Schaumburg Convention Center. Celebrate the snow at the Windy City Ski and Snowboard Show.
For more than 50 years, Mueller CPA, a certified public accounting and business advisory firm, has been serving clients in Chicagoland. Dave Nissen, Mueller's managing partner, is here to explain Mueller CPA's history, journey, and opportunity.
Thanks, Dan. Our firm was started by Al Mueller as a one-person CPA firm in 1968. Through growth and partnerships, Mueller CPA has blossomed from a regional firm to an organization that provides services worldwide. Mueller is a reflection of our years of listening and caring for our clients, and we would not be here today if it wasn't for our professionals and support personnel. We value the human side of our business and recognize it as being the most important element of our success. We are growing, we are hiring, and we welcome your interest in our firm.
If you are looking for your first opportunity or your forever career, join an award-winning team that cares about you. Visit the career page at MuellerCPA.com or call Dave directly at 630-524-5274.
AM 560, The Answer.
I'm Han. I'm Franz. And we want to pump you up.
Yeah, John Delaney is taking Hans and Franz's advice.
Why? What is he doing? Don't tell me is he lifting now with Arnold Schwarzenegger?
A former congressman, John Delaney, who is a Democrat candidate for president.
Still?
He is the strongest Democrat. I mean, literally the strongest. 6 feet tall, 200 pounds. Delaney can deadlift 350 pounds.
Whoa. That's impressive.
Especially at 56.
They're saying that he constantly works out in Iowa hotels. You go. Oh, my God. I see him curling right now.
Yeah.
Lat pull down. That's nice. It's impressive.
All right. The most interesting. We found something interesting about John Delaney other than the fact that he actually made a payroll and made some money in his life, not associated with being a public official, which also separates him from the field.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Is another housing bubble about to burst? Not everywhere. No. I mean specifically in Chicagoland, in Illinois, and other high property tax states like New Jersey, Connecticut. We're going to ask Bethany McLean about that at 8:08.
But now let's head into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
Bernie Sanders rallies with the Chicago Teachers Union. Federal agents raid the offices and Chicago home of State Senator Marty Sandoval. Cubs fall to the Pirates on the brink of playoff elimination. Indians crush the White Sox, and the Blackhawks are hosting the Capitals in their final preseason home game. Breezy with some light rain showers in the area, partly sunny for the afternoon. WIND, Chicago News Time, 8 o'clock.
What did he actually say? I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. We'll find out today when the White House releases the transcript of President Trump's controversial July phone call with Ukraine's leader. It's been reported the president had threatened to withhold military aid unless Ukraine investigated Joe Biden and his son. Fox's Rachel Sutherland is live in Washington.
Dave, President Trump has promised a complete, fully declassified and unredacted transcript. His personal lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, says he's heard a readout and suggested the president may not have started a conversation about 2020 rival Joe Biden, telling Fox and Friends,
maybe he didn't bring it up. Could be possible the president of Ukraine brought it up.
Giuliani also said the only eyebrow-raising thing about the call is that a big deal is being made of it. It's unclear if the transcript will be verbatim. Reuters is reporting presidents usually have note-takers during conversations with world leaders. Dave?
Now, Rachel, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi has said the president must be held accountable. She's got a formal impeachment inquiry.
Betrayal of our national security and betrayal of the integrity of our elections.
At least 180 House Democrats support impeachment. The whistleblower that started the controversy wants to talk.
A senior administration official tells Fox News the White House is also working to give Congress access to the whistleblower's complaint. But Democratic lawmakers want to hear from the whistleblower directly. And Intelligence Committee Chairman Adam Schiff indicates that could happen as soon as this week, tweeting, "We have been informed by the whistleblower's counsel that their client would like to speak to our committee."
That's Fox's Garrett Tenney. Juul Labs CEO is stepping down as the company has been under investigation. Meanwhile, in Massachusetts, Governor Charlie Baker announced,
I'm requesting that the Public Health Council order a 4-month temporary ban on the sale of all vaping products.
This after an outbreak of lung illness is sickening more than 500 people across the country. 9 died, and the vaping industry has been blaming black market products. America's listening to Fox News.
We'll call it partly sunny. We've had some rain and even some thunder showers across the area. Wisconsin, northern Illinois, northwest Indiana. 8:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. State Senator Marty Sandoval in the spotlight again after federal agents raided offices in Springfield, Cicero, and his Chicago home on the southwest side. The raids happened yesterday as part of an ongoing criminal investigation, the Chicago Tribune reports. University of Chicago Medical Center nurses are scheduled to return to work today following their first ever strike, but it might not be the end of their clashes with the hospital. Issues that led the nurses to walk off the job remain. The union has not ruled out a second strike. Teenage boy is dead. 3 men are wounded after they were targeted in another Chicago mass-style shooting, this time on Chicago's west side. Police say the shooting happened last night while a large group was walking near Hoyne and Cullerton. A 17-year-old was shot in the groin and pronounced dead. Another victim hospitalized in very critical condition. Democrat presidential hopeful Bernie Sanders taking the side of Chicago Teachers Union members in their fight for a new contract. Sanders was on hand for a rally last night at CTU headquarters. Cubs on the brink of playoff elimination following a 9-2 loss to the Pirates, while the Indians beat the White Sox 11-zip. It's 8:03. Time for the AM 560 Business Beat. It is a service of Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Visit signaturebank.bank for your commercial banking needs. From the Fox Business Network, here's Jenny Casola.
From the Fox Business Network, a shakeup in policy changes at vaping company Juul. Juul Labs says it'll suspend all broadcast, print, and digital product advertising in the United States, and it'll replace Chief Executive Officer Kevin Burns with Altria Group Executive Casey Crosswade. The Jimmy John's sandwich chain has been sold to Inspire Brands, the parent company of Arby's and Buffalo Wild Wings. Terms of the deal were not revealed. Jimmy John's had more than 2,800 stores last year. Its seen sales and locations increase by about 50% since 2013. Stock futures are lower. There are concerns about the implication of President Trump facing a formal impeachment inquiry and how it could impact trade talks with China. Also, the president commented at the United Nations yesterday he won't accept a bad trade deal with China. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Jenny Cosola.
8:04, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
The mainstream media wants to divide Americans into neat little groups, and they want you to believe that everyone in each of those groups thinks alike. John Anthony and Charles Love are here to blow up that lie. Join them for Black and Right this Saturday at 1 p.m. when they expose the lies of the media and the hypocrisy of the left and have fun doing it. It's Black and Right this Saturday at 1 p.m. right here on AM 560. The Answer.
Hi, I'm Alan Bronson.
And I'm Bill Cook. All of us at Clear Financial Strategies want to thank you for the overwhelmingly positive response to our previous ads, but the 75% discount on our fiduciary review ends soon.
We have good news. You and your employees need not be constrained by one-size-fits-all retirement plans. Working with industry heavyweights like Charles Schwab, the professionals at Clear Financial Strategies will customize a plan that includes the features that best fit your goals, including personal financial planning and all mobile-friendly.
Your plan will be managed in a fiduciary-compliant process that puts the day-to-day burden on the shoulders of the professionals at Clear Financial Strategies. We also offer a low-cost, no transaction fee HSA plan that can mirror your 401k, permitting investments with the first contribution.
All this, plus financial wellness and personal advice to help assure retirement readiness. Call now, 855-972-9564. That's 855-972-9564, or go to my401krisks.com.
Dell has something extra for small businesses, up to 45% off during their semi-annual sale. It's a perfect time to update to Windows 10 with huge deals on business computers featuring Intel Core processors, plus free shipping on everything. Call Small Business Technology Advisors who can help you achieve your business goals affordably with low monthly payments on the right tech for you. Just call 877-BUY-DELL. That's 877-BUY-DELL, or visit Dell.com/business deals for semi-annual savings.
Starting route now. Turn right at Fortress Mountains. Turn left at Mount Hood. Head south to Moab, Utah. Continue on the Great North American Test Drive.
Run with us on a John Deere Gator XUV 835. With our quietest cab ever and optional heat and AC, and a four-wheel independent suspension, it's built to run where no one else can. Nothing runs like a Deere. Search John Deere Gator for more.
8:07. Get an update on the morning roads. A busy one in the AM 560 traffic center. Jim Telemonte.
Indiana toll road ramps to eastbound 94 remain closed for crash investigation. Northbound I-57 is jammed. 30 to I-80. The ramp to westbound 80 is closed due to a collision. Farther north, I-57 is running 32 minutes. I-80 to Merge Bishop 437. The ride is 32 minutes from 95th to downtown. Kennedy, 55 minutes. O'Hare to the Bird Circle takes longer in the express lanes for the locals. Eisenhower, an hour and 7 minutes, 390 to downtown, 52 minutes from Manheim. Stevenson, an hour, 355 to the drive. Northbound Tri-State delays are Cicero to 47th, and from the Reagan Tollway to Lawrence, Reagan Tollway from the Fox River much of the way to 355 and 83 to the Tri-State. I'm Jim Telemonte on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center and our meteorologist, Steve Williams.
A shower or thunderstorm in spots early this morning. It'll be breezy, then intervals of clouds and sun today, high 78. Partly cloudy tonight, low 56. Mostly sunny, nice day tomorrow, the high near 70. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
65 at O'Hare, next news 8:30, and Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas, great coffee, period.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. We're going to talk to David Harsanyi from the Federalist at the bottom of the hour on the Ukraine, Biden, Trump impeachment imbroglio. I mentioned in the last hour about this, reminding people of that time that, a year ago, back in May of 2018, when three senators, Democrats named Durbin, Menendez, and Leahy, sent a letter to the the prosecutor general in Ukraine, pressuring their compliance with the Mueller investigation, asking questions that they answered, pressuring them. So you remember that time. I don't know if they're supposed to be impeached as well. And then there was the other time, like a month ago, when Senator Chris Murphy, who's a Democrat from Connecticut, used USAID as a carrot and stick with Ukraine's new president, Zelensky, saying basically if he acquiesced to requests by Giuliani to investigate past corruption and allegations involving Americans, including Biden, then Ukraine would no longer enjoy bipartisan support for USAID.
Oh, really? Talk about pressure.
And that's domestic politics, I believe, as well.
Yeah. And President Zelensky, because he's at New York at the UN, by the way, meeting with Trump today, so that's going to be a huge photo op. I thought they could relive the phone call, and forget the transcripts. Let's just do it.
Do
Let's
a little
just do it live.
theater in the round.
Yeah, that would be perfect. But he told an Israeli journalist, he said, I have never been pressured by President Trump, ever.
Okay, well, it's impeachment or bust, or impeachment and then bust. We'll see. We'll talk to Harsanyi about that at the bottom of the hour. Now, we want to address something that perhaps may be visiting certain locales around the country. It's a structural issue, but I would suggest that there are
some cracks in the foundation.
Well, there are places that are more vulnerable than others. Places like Connecticut, like New Jersey, like Illinois, more vulnerable to others when the question asked is, when's the next housing crisis? This a couple of months ago, James Freeman raised the specter of this, and so I thought, well, why don't we do a stop, look, and listen, since we haven't learned a lot of the lessons we should have from the 2008 Great Recession, driven in part by the collapse in housing. Maybe we should take stock of where we're at more than a decade later if we're not exposing ourselves to those same dire consequences. For more on this, we're pleased to be joined again by Bethany McLean, who's written extensively on the topic. She's a contributing editor for Vanity Fair. Bethany, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
So one of the things that Freeman wrote about in the Journal a couple months back was the specter of the ghost of mortgage markets past, these no-income, no-asset loans being made available again. Now, they're not guaranteed by Fannie and Freddie, so that's different, and they're only available for non-owner-occupied investment properties. So it's not quite the same, but it certainly raises the specter of some of the same moral hazards that, in part at least, led to the bubble bursting a decade ago.
Yeah, it does, and it's a funny thing because one rule generally is that history rhymes but doesn't repeat, right? So the idea that we would have another housing crisis when that was the thing that brought down the economy a decade ago seems completely far-fetched because it's not supposed to happen again. But I am hearing tales from people on the front lines, lenders, mortgage brokers, of these riskier loans making a comeback indeed. And you wonder, heading into an election year with political pressure to keep the economy roaring, and given the importance of housing to our economy, it makes up some 20% of the economy, what we might see happen. And you already have pretty. I'm tempted to use the word inflated, but I'm going to say instead there's been a dramatic rise in housing prices in a number of major markets, right? I mean, the markets came back in a rip-roaring kind of way. So, yeah, I worry. I've generally been told that lending standards are much, much better this time around than they were a decade ago. But there's anecdotal evidence that something is shifting.
And what are the most vulnerable cities?
I think it's hard to know. I mean, Chicago, the home prices have gone up dramatically. New York, there are already some rumblings in the market. Prices are falling. There was an interesting piece in the New York Times that 25% of condos that have been built are not occupied, haven't sold. But it's hard to say because so much is economically driven, right? And if the economy in a certain area keeps exploding, then so will the housing prices. So you can't go on just the fact that prices have gone up dramatically.
Although there was a report out earlier this week that home prices are rising at the slowest pace in 7 years, so some of that's slowing down. And in particular, I wonder if local and state tax and regulatory policy it will be impactful, such that if and when the next crisis does come, it will strike not like a tidal wave, but more like a tornado, will touch down in different areas. I mean, in Illinois, like New Jersey, where we compete for the highest property taxes in the nation, you're having the value of your home eaten away by property taxes, your equity eaten away by property taxes. And, there is a glut in the market, particularly as you go up that price point in Chicagoland.
Yes, there absolutely is. And given the fiscal condition of the city and the state, property taxes aren't going to get better anytime soon. I think they can actually only go in one direction. So that's going to be an issue for all of us in Illinois. What I actually worry about more is that the Federal Reserve, which really, for better or worse, came to the salvation of the system a decade ago by dramatically lowering interest rates and spurring the economy all over the globe. Central banks are out of ammunition because we've had very low to even negative interest rates for the last decade. And you heard what happened when Jerome Powell, the Fed chairman, tried to start raising rates last year, and the markets just basically freaked out. And so we're in this unprecedented experiment in terms of these super low interest rates. And the question has been, how does the Fed unwind that? But the other question is, if something does happen, if there is an economic shock, we've run out of the type of medicine that has historically been most useful. And so that's a little bit frightening too.
Are we remaking the same mistakes that were made in the lead up to 2008 with our reliance on Fannie and Freddie as the backstop?
Well, we never fixed Fannie and Freddie, right? So when they were taken over by the government and put into conservatorship, the idea was that this would be temporary. And in fact, that word was used. And we were supposed to figure out how to reform the housing finance system so that it made more sense for a modern economy. And instead, we did nothing. Over a decade later, Fannie and Freddie are still in conservatorship. And so, yes, taxpayers are on the hook for everything, because our government did nothing to fix the problem and put the two companies on sound footing. It's a really complicated question, how best to fix them, but it just got bogged down in politics, not surprisingly, and so here we are. And what I've always worried about is there's an argument from both the left and the right that having Fannie and Freddie as wards of the government works perfectly well. Why bother to shift it? But of course, that's worked well in good times when markets have been going up. But when times are bad, it means that the cost of that lands on taxpayers. And the other problem I've always worried about is that they are wards of the government, which means the government can put pressure on them to guarantee riskier mortgages because they're supported by the government. And I don't think it's healthy.
She is Bethany McLean, contributing editor to Vanity Fair. Bethany, thanks as always for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Bye.
And she joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Before you see it on TV, share it on Facebook, or read about it in the paper. Hear it here first. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
My name is David Hochberg. If you'd like to pay off debt, call Team Hochberg now about a cash-out refinance. During May, Team Hochberg helped listeners access $953,000 to pay off credit cards, student loans, car loans, medical bills, collections, and IRS tax liens, which saved them close to $19,000 a month. Since January, Team Hochberg has saved listeners over $74,000 a month, which is an annualized savings of over $888,000. What are you waiting for? Call Team Hochberg now to see if we can help you pay off debt and substantially reduce your monthly payments with a cash-out refinance. Think of all the things you could do with an extra $500, $1,000, or $1,500 a month that you'd be saving. Call Team Hochberg now at 855-56-DAVID or visit 56david.com. Team Hochberg has helped thousands of AM 560 listeners, but we can't help if you don't call 855-56-DAVID or visit 56david.com. Homeside Financial, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS 1124061.
Hey, our listeners have helped make MyPillow into the amazing company it is today. And now Mike Lindell, the inventor and CEO of MyPillow, I'm sure you've seen him on those commercials. He wants to give back to the listeners. Deep discounts on all MyPillow products. That body pillow, which is normally $90, only $29.99. And all the products come with a 60-day money-back guarantee and a 10-year warranty. Who does that unless they truly believe in their products? MyPillow.com. Go there, type Amy in the promo code, and voila, 30% off mattress toppers, MyPillow products, deep discounts on Giza cotton sheets, and much more. You have to find it all at MyPillow.com, MyPillow.com. Type Amy in the promo code.
If you have pain, I hope you listen up. Hi, it's Mike Gallagher. You don't need to live in pain. Let me repeat that. You do not have to live in pain. Chronic pain is the worst, whether it's from an accident or pain that just develops. Chicagoland, you're in luck. Dr. Ken Candido is one of the nation's most respected and successful pain doctors. He's been voted one of Chicago's best pain doctors several times. Bottom line, he's the pain doctor you need. Dr. Candido of Chicago Anesthesia and Pain Specialists will help you get off pain medication and all of the side effects. How? By finding the source of your chronic pain and fixing it.
This is Ken Candido of Chicago Anesthesia Pain Specialists. Let's make you pain-free.
Call Dr. Ken Candido and make an appointment with a cutting-edge, respected, and successful pain physician. Go to mypainchicago.com. That's mypainchicago.com. Thousands have been helped with their chronic pain, and you could be the next one. Get the phone number and all the info you need at mypainchicago.com. That's mypainchicago.com.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
Hi, I'm Rick Blavelone, second-generation owner and CEO of Marketing Innovators and a customer of Signature Bank. Our family-run company was founded on the belief that connecting to people on a human level is the best way to build a great business. And when we were looking for a new bank, we didn't have to look far. We shared an office building with Signature Bank in Rosemont and quickly saw that they were truly locally owned and operated. That's why we partnered with Signature. And that relationship makes every business decision better and every communication clearer. Marketing Innovators looks forward to a long-lasting relationship with Signature Bank.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Balance of Nature, changing the world one life at a time.
Scientific research has shown that many cancers and lifestyle diseases can be prevented with a diet rich in fruits and vegetables. This prevention comes from the phytochemicals in the plants. They fight against oxidants that damage the cell's DNA, causing mutations that lead to disease. In my lab, I've seen the immune response increase, I've seen your DNA repair capacity increase, and I've seen DNA protection. As a scientist, I know that Balance of Nature works.
Experience the Balance of Nature difference for yourself. To end the month of September, Balance of Nature is offering a 30% discount and free shipping on your first preferred order of Balance of Nature. This special is ending between now and September 30th, so don't wait. Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go to balanceofnature.com and use discount code Chicago.
Famous conservative quotes, presented by Automated Systems.
Here's a Churchill quote to improve your outlook. A pessimist sees the difficulty in every opportunity. An optimist sees the opportunity in every difficulty. Wise words to live by, indeed.
Manufacturing companies, I encourage you to call my friend Laz Kulchar from Automated Systems. Automated Systems is a software and systems integration company that specializes in companies that are required to meet FDA compliance requirements. Automated Systems will create a custom solution for your business that will make your production lines, facilities, and plants run more efficiently. Imagine less downtime, more speed, and fewer rejects. From Fortune 500 to startup, ASI delivers solutions for your toughest automation challenges. For information, I encourage you to talk to Laz at Automated Systems. Call 844-HIRE-ASI or visit hireasi.com. That's 844-HIRE-ASI, 844-HIRE-ASI, or online at hireasi.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. Well, we're waiting for the transcript of that phone call between Presidents Trump and Zelensky to be released.
It can't come soon enough.
Whistleblower complaint will be provided. The congressional intel committees, per unanimous resolution in the Senate yesterday, so the Senate intel will have that post haste.
And according to a Trump defender, Congressman Doug Collins, he went on Fox and Friends and says that a few words will raise eyebrows, but it's not nearly as bad as the Democrats say.
Is it as bad as what the Democrats have done? Well, that's the real question.
312-642-5600, our turnkey Debt Pro answer line, 64636, type in DA, then a quick comment.
And I'm even setting aside Joe Biden for now. John Solomon reporting, as we just referenced before our conversation with Bethany McLean about housing. John Solomon reporting Chris Murphy, Democrat from Connecticut, visiting with Zelensky a month ago, saying that bipartisan support for U.S. aid to Ukraine would be jeopardized if Zelensky, the Ukrainian president, acquiesced to requests by Rudy Giuliani to investigate past corruption allegations involving Americans, including Joe Biden and his family.
That sounds like a threat or pressure, as you would say.
And John Solomon goes on, as we've talked about some of his reporting before, including 6 months ago. This is all being sort of revisited because now people are actually interested in it. Hey, that's good. The pressure on Ukraine began at least as early as January of 2016, writes Solomon, when the Obama White House unexpectedly invited Ukraine's top prosecutors to Washington to discuss fighting corruption in the country. The meeting, promised as training, turned out to be more of a pretext for the Obama administration to pressure Ukraine's prosecutors to drop an investigation into the Burisma Holdings gas company, on whose board Hunter Biden sat, as well as to look for new evidence in a then-dormant criminal case against eventual Trump campaign manager Paul Manafort, a Republican lobbyist. U.S. officials kept talking about how important it was that all of our anti-corruption efforts be united, says Andrei Teleshenko, former political officer in the Ukrainian embassy in Washington, who organized and attended the meetings. Ukraine's chief anti-corruption prosecutor told Solomon that soon after he returned from the Washington meeting, he saw evidence in Ukraine of political meddling in the U.S. election. That's when two top Ukrainian officials released secret evidence to the American media targeting Manafort. The release of the evidence on Manafort forced him to step down as Trump's top campaign advisor. Ukrainian court concluded last December the release of the evidence amounted to an unlawful intervention in the U.S. election by Kiev's government, although that ruling has since been overturned on a technicality. And we go on and on and on this with respect to the Shokin, the prosecutor, being terminated at Biden's behest, all the way to a George Soros-funded anti-corruption group that was over whom pressure was apparently applied to steer clear, pressure applied by U.S. diplomats on Ukrainian officials, steer clear of investigating this Soros-funded anti-corruption group in the Ukraine. And that's not even including the letter that was sent by Senators Durbin, Leahy, and Menendez in May of last year to the Ukrainians' Prosecutor General saying, hey, we hear you're not complying with the Mueller probe. Please do so, and please send back written answers to these questions we've enclosed. And I'm sorry, President Trump withholding military aid to Ukraine is how you're going to impeach him for pressuring a foreign government over, at least in part, domestic political concerns?
Well, yesterday, President Trump did, answer the question when asked, why did you withhold aid from Ukraine?
We want to make sure that country is honest. It's very important to talk about corruption. If you don't talk about corruption, why would you give money to a country that you think is corrupt? One of the reasons the new president got elected is he was going to stop corruption. My complaint has always been, and I'd withhold again, and I'll continue to withhold until such time as Europe and other nations contribute to Ukraine, because they're not doing it. It's the United States. We're putting up the bulk of the money. And I'm asking, why is that?
So, he answered twice with two different answers, saying he withheld aid because of government corruption or possible government corruption. And then he wanted to see what other European countries, what of our allies, would also,
Well, those answers are not mutually exclusive. You can have more than one reason. Yeah. You also had parliamentary elections in Ukraine on July 21st, 4 days before that phone call. That could have influenced at least some of his advisors in terms of what to do. Now, there's other reporting. John Bolton wanted that military aid released. And so there was disagreement within senior ranks of the Trump in the Trump orbit about what to do with that aid and when to release it. And there's reporting about concerns about what Trump would say in a call with Zelensky, not just about corruption generally in Ukraine and what he intends to do about it, but also specifically Biden. Okay. I mean, you still have to connect dots for me about a alleged crime that was committed, of which there's no supporting evidence that we know of at this point in time. We'll see when this other information is disclosed if there's any probative, and if any of this information has probative value. Number one, and number two, whether it's a high crime or misdemeanor as it relates to impeachment.
Right. I mean, Nancy Pelosi said yesterday that there's no requirement for a quid pro quo.
What do you mean?
Listen.
There is no requirement there be a quid pro quo in the conversation. If the president brings up he wants them to investigate something, that's of his political opponent. That is self-evident that it is not right. We don't ask foreign governments to help us in our elections.
Right. Well, we don't ask foreign governments to help us in our election. Well,
wait. We don't ask foreign governments to help us.
You better talk to some of your friends over in the Senate Democrat Socialist Caucus there, Nancy. I don't know. There seems to be some disagreement within your ranks about that, because everything can be forced through the prism of domestic political considerations, can't it? You think the senators, the good senators, Durbin and Menendez and Leahy and Murphy, you think they didn't have any domestic political calculus with respect to the posture they were taking and the pressure they were applying on Ukraine to comply with the Mueller investigation to the extent that they desired on the one hand, and to not comply with Giuliani's requests on the other? That doesn't raise the specter of domestic politics. Well, I'll pick up this conversation with David Harsanyi from The Federalist at 8:38.
Now let's head straight into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
Partly sunny skies, 63 degrees. Speaker Nancy Pelosi says she is launching a former House impeachment inquiry into President Trump. Pelosi saying yesterday she believes no one is above the law. President Trump insisting there was no pressure on the president of Ukraine.
And there was never any quid pro quo. The letter was beautiful. It was a perfect letter. It was unlike Biden, who, by the way, what he said was a horror.
The president's attorney, Rudy Giuliani, doesn't believe we've heard the last word on whether Vice President Joe Biden and his son had any improper dealings with Ukraine. He sat down for an interview this morning with Fox.
And I'll tell you what he does to himself, and I'm not his lawyer, so I shouldn't advise him. He should keep his mouth shut, because there's one false exculpatory statement he just made that could be used as evidence of his guilt and involvement when he said, "I never talked to my son about his foreign dealings."
Last night in another interview also on Fox, the former New York City mayor says he got involved in U.S.-Ukraine relations at the request of the State Department. Former Vice President Joe Biden believes Trump is under the impression that he is above the law.
Pursuing the leader of another nation to investigate a political opponent to help win his election is not the conduct of an American president.
Biden has been furious about the president's demand that he and his son Hunter be investigated. British House of Commons will reconvene today after Prime Minister Boris Johnson's decision to suspend Parliament was ruled improper by a British High Court. A second parent going to prison in the college admission fraud case. California business executive Devin Sloan was sentenced to 4 months in prison. State Senator Marty Sandoval in the Chicago spotlight after federal agents raided his offices in Springfield, Cicero, and his home on Chicago's southwest side. A 12-year-old girl continues to fight for her life after she was shot by a stray bullet inside her home in Harvey. Kentavia Blackville was sitting at the family computer Monday night when a bullet passed through a window and hit her in the back of the head. There's restaurant news this morning. Crane Chicago Business reporting Jimmy John's Sandwiches is being sold to the parent company of Arby's, Buffalo Wild Wings, and Sonic. Inspire Brands says it has a deal to acquire the chain that was unanimously approved by the former Illinois Sandwich Giants board, including the founder, Jimmy John himself. Financial terms were not disclosed. The former president and chairman of the board will step down and then become an advisor to the chain when the deal closes. Jimmy John's started in 1983 as a sandwich shop in a converted garage in Charleston. Cubs on the brink of a playoff elimination following a 9-2 loss to the Pirates. Indians beat the White Sox 11-0. The news service of LifeLock with Norton. No one wants to wake up to find they're the victim of identity theft or that malware is compromising their smartphone. LifeLock with Norton now includes protection for your identity and devices. Limited time offer, 30% off your first year. Ends October 6th. Join at lifelock.com. Use promo code RISK. 8:35 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher sees a relentless attack on Justice Kavanaugh.
The anti-Kavanaugh campaign could be just beginning. But see, the greater good is to send a warning to Brett Kavanaugh. You better toe the line on every abortion case you hear. Because if you're pro-life in your rulings, we're going to keep coming at you.
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
Want your home's furnace to stay safe and reliable? And want to prevent any potential problems before they happen? At your local 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning, we recommend an annual furnace inspection and tune-up. Right now, get big savings on a furnace tune-up. Call 855-1-HOUR. Because not taking care of your furnace, that's just cold.
Your comfort is just a call away. Call 1 Hour.
Terms and conditions may apply. Call for details. Independently owned and operated. Licensed in the respective state or county.
Prescription products require an online physician consultation and are only available if the physician determines a prescription is appropriate. Subscription required. See website for full details and important safety information.
Hey guys, good news. The outrageously expensive Little Blue Pill is now generic, which means you can get the prescription medication to treat ED at affordable prices. And Hims makes it extra affordable. And right now, get your first online visit totally free when you go to 4hims.com/joy. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, 4hims.com/joy. FORHIMS.com/joy.
Hi, this is Amy Jacobson, and just because summer is over doesn't mean it's too late to paint your home. Fall is a great time to check painting off your to-do list. By now, I think I've had my entire home painted by CertaPro painters. They really are the best. You know, CertaPro painters make painting this fall easy and quick. They have more availability, which means you can have your home professionally painted much faster. Cooler weather is arriving, so it is time to think about protecting your home from the elements once again. Have CertaPro painters paint the exterior of your home as well. And with kids going back to school and the family moving back indoors, get excited about cozy nights with a new look from CertaPro painters. Don't put it off. It's time to hire CertaPro painters, your residential and commercial painting experts. Schedule a free estimate online at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C. Or call 800-GO-CERTA. Each CertaPro painter's business is independently owned and operated. CertaPro painters, we do painting, you do life.
8:37 in the AM 560 Traffic Center. Let's get the latest on the roads with Jim Telemonte.
Indiana toll road ramps to eastbound 94 are closed for major crash investigation. Northbound I-57, the ramp to westbound 80 has reopened. Still seeing heavy traffic starting around 30. Then it's 32 minutes I-80 to merge. Bishopford 37 minutes 80-94 to the ride. The ride is 36 minutes 95 to downtown. Eden's 23 minutes Lake Cook to the junction, outbound 30. Kennedy, 55 minutes O'Hare to downtown, 25 from Montrose, 30 in the Express. Eisenhower, an hour and 7 minutes, 390 to downtown, 52 minutes from Manheim.
Stevenson an hour 5, 355 to the drive. The northbound Veterans Memorial is heavy. I-55 to the Reagan Tollway. The Army Trail toll to 290. That's traffic. I'm Chip Telemonte on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center. A breezy day ahead. Clouds, maybe some rain showers through the early morning. Midday will turn partly sunny, and then partly sunny for the afternoon. High 78. Partly cloudy and 56 overnight, and a high of 70 tomorrow. 66 at O'Hare. Next news coming up at 9. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the IRS Radio Hour with Stephen Leahy. Every Sunday afternoon at 5 on AM 560, The Answer.
Tickets for Freedom Summit Chicago are on sale now at freedomsummitchicago.com. That's freedomsummitchicago.com.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. President Trump reacting to this announcement from Nancy Pelosi yesterday.
And this week, the president has admitted to asking the president of Ukraine to take actions which would benefit him politically. The actions of the Trump presidency revealed the dishonorable fact of the president's betrayal of his oath of office, betrayal of our national security, and betrayal of the integrity of our elections. Therefore, today, I'm announcing the House of Representatives moving forward with an official impeachment inquiry. I'm directing our 6 committees to proceed with their investigations under that umbrella of impeachment inquiry.
So Nancy Pelosi restating her position on the topic of impeachment. It's just a different angle of incidents. It's not Russian collusion anymore. It's Ukrainian collusion. And Trump restating his.
Mr. President, Congress is moving towards impeachment, including Nancy Pelosi, could be as a result of the Ukraine call. How do you feel about that?
I think it's ridiculous. It's a witch hunt. I'm leading in the polls. They have no idea how they stop me. The only way they can try is through impeachment. This has never happened to a president before. There's never been a thing like this before. It's nonsense. And when you see the call, when you see the readout of the call, which I assume you'll see at some point, you'll understand. That call was perfect. It couldn't have been nicer. And even the Ukrainian government put out a statement that that was a perfect call. There was no pressure put on them whatsoever. But there was pressure put on with respect to Joe Biden. What Joe Biden did for his son, that's something they should be looking at.
Again, he stuck the landing. He got a perfect 10 in the phone call, according to President Trump.
And so Pelosi, as we played earlier, her position is he didn't have to apply pressure for this to be impeachable. Just the specter of Joe Biden's name being mentioned is a betrayal of his office, of national security, of free and fair elections, of Western civilization, of the 10 Commandments, of the Beatitudes, of the 4 cardinal virtues. It's a betrayal of everything.
But he tweeted yesterday in bold, all capital letters, presidential harassment. And he, put out that pre-made video from last week, just showing all the attacks on him since he took office.
For more on this topic, right, I mean, this has been the position of the Democrats from the election night forward, and it hasn't changed. It's just the content they're using to prosecute their case changes. David Harsanyi, senior editor for The Federalist, Federalist.com, author of First Freedom, A Ride Through America's Enduring History with the Gun from Revolution to Today. David Harsanyi joins us. Thank you for being with us, David. Appreciate it.
It was a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
So we're, of course, waiting for the transcript to be released and waiting for the congressional intel committees to get the whistleblowers complaint. So we don't know everything. That hasn't stopped the left from talking about it. So I guess we can talk about it, too, perhaps in more restrained tones. But what about what Nancy Pelosi suggests and what the president has provided in terms of a response?
Well, I mean, I think it's important to say that Nancy Pelosi decided to move forward with impeachment without actually seeing a transcript and without actually seeing the whistleblower's complaint. Her entire case is predicated on the fact that Donald Trump asked the Ukrainian president to investigate Biden. Now, if that's an impeachable offense now, I think we have a lot of precedent that says that other people, acted poorly as well. First of all, and second of all, she moving forward without any evidence tells us that this is a partisan consideration, not a legal one or a constitutional one or any of the things that she's saying.
So why
Trump's response, I think, was good, though I don't understand why he gets himself involved in this kind of nonsense where he should have just shipped off this investigation to some of his cronies in the intelligence services like the Democrats did it under Obama the last election.
Right, instead of Rudy G., which has perhaps not been particularly helpful, including his recent appearances on the cable news talkies, which we've discussed. But let me ask
out of control.
Yeah,
people like, shut up, moron. I mean, it was embarrassing.
Well, so was that moron, though, that former Schumer staffer. But I agree, Rudy G. is not helping anybody, including himself. But here's the thing. The decision by Pelosi, this is something she's resisted up until this point. Now she takes a flyer with information she doesn't have. Is this strictly because you were reaching upwards of 80% of her caucus wanting to move on this, and she's just acquiescing to internal pressure?
That's what it seems like to me. I think that she felt this Ukrainian thing was enough for her to, not to put herself in risk. Though I have to say, nothing really. This is just the status quo. We already had these investigations, so basically the only thing that's changed is her open support for them. I'm still a little skeptical that they're actually going to impeach him. I think what they want more than anything is just to have this cloud over Trump moving into 2020 and to have these investigations. I think for them that's far more important, and they know the Senate is almost surely not going to remove the president.
But how do they walk back? How do they walk back that pronouncement that she made yesterday, and of course all the attendant enthusiasm? I mean, it seems to me now you've made 2020 about impeachment. That's the issue that they want to be the litmus test for the 2020 presidential and down ballot races. Is that really what they want? They think that there'll just be enough Trump fatigue that they'll throw him out just to be done with it?
I don't know what they think. I mean, listen, do they really have to? I mean, they don't have to walk back anything. They spent 2 years talking about Russian collusion. When it didn't work out, they just went to the next thing. No one has explained why that was problematic. No Democrat has come out. I think it's a mistake. I mean, I think that the Trump sort of hatred is already at 11, and lots of people are animated by that. But I think that on the other side, impeachment will be something that really gets Trump fans going, because they believe, and I think they're pretty right about this, is that Trump was convicted by Democrats the day he was elected, and after that it was just a matter of finding something that would allow them to remove him from office.
Well, there's 39 Democratic congressional members who are not on board with impeachment. No Republicans yet that I know of, and this is the question for you, are going to turn on Trump. Are there any senators that are Republican that you think might turn on him? If the House does pass impeachment, it goes to the Senate.
To be fair, I mean, I don't know what's in the whistleblower report or in this conversation, and I'm sure there are some senators who, if it was something really damning, would turn on Trump. But, I mean, in all likelihood, if history is any guide, people are getting hysterical over something that's probably not going to have the impact they think it is, and that, the status quo will remain. I also should mention that Pelosi, until they have a vote of the entire House, I still don't buy that even though there was some tepid support for impeachment, that people actually want to put it to the vote. But I could be wrong on that.
Well, and the other thing, too, is that, as is always the case here now, now we've got everybody's attention focused on everything that's ever happened in a particular topic area. And as per usual, you find that the side making the accusations isn't coming to the table with clean hands. And we've got a letter from last year from Senators Durbin, Leahy, and Menendez putting pressure on the Ukrainian prosecutor general over the Mueller investigation and full compliance with that investigation. We've got John Solomon reporting, John Solomon at thehill.com reporting about a meeting U.S. Senator Chris Murphy from Connecticut had with Zelensky last month, where he basically said, if you comply with, acquiesce to Giuliani's requests, then you're jeopardizing your continuing the bipartisanship support for U.S. aid to Ukraine that you currently enjoy. So, I mean, how is what those senators were doing any different than they're suggesting Trump did?
It's all Calvin ball. You're not even allowed to mention the past anymore. Whenever I bring things like this up, it's called whataboutism. It's dismissed. Listen, precedents are important. We are trying to set some sort of... Listen, House can impeach for whatever reason they feel like. There is no, it doesn't even have to be lawless or anything like that. But we should have some sort of standards that we live by. That Hunter Biden stuff, which is, which CNN calls baseless and all of that. I don't really want to get into the weeds about what that's all about, but it's not baseless. It's very shady to have the vice president of the country pressuring with U.S. dollars a government to dismiss a prosecutor while his son might be under investigation. Yet, I don't remember people making that big of a deal over any of that. So.
Oh, no, David, Chuck Todd's got this. Hey, David. This has been investigated. There's nothing there. There's nothing. This is investigated. I mean, what is he talking about? I know what he's trying to do, but it's so reprehensible. Look, there was James Freeman writing the Wall Street Journal just got published basically reader reactions to how Biden and Hillary Clinton conduct business in international arenas where they don't have to comply with U.S. law, or at least think they don't. It's a conflict of interest. This is like conflict of interest 101 in any corporate environment with respect to any governance issue. All Biden had to do was say, Mr. President, I can't be involved in this one because I got my boy on the board of an energy company there. It wouldn't look right. We're not saying he did anything illegal. We have no idea. As Andy McCarthy says, it should be investigated, but we don't have any idea. But the conflict of interest we do know, and that's bad enough.
Yeah. But in some way, I think, and this is a little bit of a conspiracy theory of mine, but I think that the media is perfectly happy to go after Biden and Trump in the same, they don't mind that this is about Biden because they want Elizabeth Warren or someone to the left of Biden. This neoliberal is not doing it for them. So for them, this is the perfect, story all around. Not that they're going to investigate Biden in any real sort of way, but I think that they like the whole layout of this and the landscape of this debate moving forward. I'm not sure it's going to work out for them because I think they underestimate the kind of anger impeachment will, ignite on the right.
Well, the other thing they could be underestimating, too, is the reaction that Democrat primary voters will have to Joe Biden seemingly under attack from the right. They'll rally to him.
What do you mean? They'll rally to
Democrat primary voters, if they think that this is, he's being attacked by the right, this Donald Trump attacking him, well, then they'll rally to Joe Biden just because he's being attacked by Trump. Possibly.
Yeah, I mean, he looks like he's in trouble, right? Because in some of the early states, his numbers are down and so on. But maybe this is the sort of thing where he acts all indignant. He becomes the focus of stories. People, rally around him. I think that's a perfectly, that's a possible outcome to all of this.
Yeah, I'm wrong because I thought his career or his campaign would be over.
Oh, it may
once
still
the story
be.
came out.
It may still be.
Well, but the latest poll shows him now ticking higher. Yeah.
You know what's funny about him? He's a disaster.
He is.
No, right. I'm not saying that because he's old or anything, but he's had other campaigns. They have been complete disasters. People overestimate his appeal, I think, dramatically. Now, not to say he can't win because Trump is Trump, but he's a senator from Delaware who was pretty lucky to even become a senator there. In the post-Watergate environment, it's like he is not as likable or as good a politician as people seem to think he is. And certainly not as moderate anymore either.
He is David Harsanyi, senior editor for TheFederalist.com, author of First Freedom, A Ride Through America's Enduring History with the Gun, From the Revolution to Today. David, thanks for joining us as always. Appreciate it.
Anytime. Thanks.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Connect with Dan and Amy on the AM 560 The Answer mobile app. Just text the word app to 64636 to download the app today.
Balance of Nature. Changing the world, one life at a time.
Scientific research has shown that many cancers and lifestyle diseases can be prevented with a diet rich in fruits and vegetables. This prevention comes from the phytochemicals in the plants. They fight against oxidants that damage the cell's DNA, causing mutations that lead to disease. In my lab, I've seen the immune response increase, I've seen your DNA repair capacity increase, and I've seen DNA protection. As a scientist, I know that balance of nature works.
Experience the Balance of Nature difference for yourself. To end the month of September, Balance of Nature is offering a 30% discount and free shipping on your first preferred order of Balance of Nature. This special is ending between now and September 30th, so don't wait. Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
You hear that? The slopes are calling. Adjust your altitude at the 2019 Windy City Ski and Snowboard Show, the Midwest premier show, September 27th through the 29th at the Schaumburg Convention Center. Save up to 70% off retail on over $1 million of clothing, gear, and accessories in a massive super sale area. Check out the latest gear from dozens of top names: Salomon, Rossignol, Libtech, Technica, Burton, Marker, and more. Meet with reps from the top Midwest and Western ski resorts: Telluride, Big Sky, Alpine Valley, Devil's Head, Crystal Mountain, Wilmot Resort, Ski Brule, Ski Utah, and more. Kids 12 and under are free, plus free parking. Buy tickets online and get all the details at WindyCitySkiAndSnowboardShow.com. Paid admission includes a free lift ticket, plus 2-for-1 lift ticket offers. Restrictions apply. See website for details. September 27th through the 29th at the Schaumburg Convention Center. It's the Midwest's biggest winter party, the Windy City Ski and Snowboard Show.
Doors, windows sticking, uneven floors, about cracks in your drywall. Well, does this sound familiar? Many homeowners across Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana are experiencing the symptoms of structural issues. Are you aware that these indicators can be signs of damage to your home's foundation? All too often, homeowners pay an expensive consultation fee, but you don't have to do that. Just call Permaseal today, 800-421-SEAL. A certified structural consultant will thoroughly evaluate your foundation and offer you a permanent solution at absolutely no charge. For over 40 years, Permaseal has been the man, providing quality, providing proven products, and superior, the best customer service ever. When the work is done, you'll have a transferable warranty and priceless peace of mind. You know who to call. Permaseal, 800-421-SEAL. That's 800-421-7325, or go to permaseal.net.
Hey everyone, Ken here. For 2 years now, you've heard Carrie and I use metaphors to test to see if you think your home or your business could use a revenue shot in the backside. Today, because of our new website, I can be a little bit more direct. Income Store has 2 doors. If you have more time than money, you're going to live under door number 1. You're going to see over 400 digital assets, 5 to 20 minutes apiece, that'll teach you how to manage numbers and lead people, or show you 6 growth tips you've never heard of. All of this so you can start growing your home or your business revenue literally immediately. If you have more money than time, door number 2 is going to be for you. You can view some of our managed services, look for more done-for-you packages. 34% of Americans in 2018 visited one of our managed services. Forbes 3 years in a row quoted, "Income Store is an expert at generating home or business revenue." If you'd love to explore how to check out adding revenue to your home or business, just go to incomestore.com. That's incomestore.com.
Remember when you could pick up the phone and talk to a friendly voice for technical difficulties?
Yeah, now it's a help desk on the other side of the planet that knows nothing about my business and usually isn't much help at all.
I got stuck in a help chat room the other day, and it was endless back and forth. I don't think they ever really understood or cared about my issue.
It's tough to get great technical help these days. To find people that really care and invest in your success. That's what Turnkey IT does. And you can rely on them to take care of everything IT, as if they were right by your side, but without the expense of an in-house IT department. Get to know the local team members at Turnkey IT that continue to serve businesses just like yours, from 1 to 200 employees. A friendly face with a personal touch that's close by and believes your word really means something. For only $7.95 per month, you can have local IT help and forget about dealing with computer and network problems forever.
Leave the technical stuff to the pros so you can focus on the important things. Visit turnkey.pro today. Turnkey.pro.
I'm Chuck McDowell, CEO of Wesley Financial Group and timeshare cancellation advocate. I was sued by the largest timeshare company in federal court for simply helping people cancel their timeshare that they had been lied to about. The jury sized me up and came back with a verdict after only 20 minutes. And yes, I won.
My husband and I are more than grateful to everyone at Wesley Financial Group.
You know, thanks to Chuck and his team, we feel as though a weight has been lifted and we can move on without the worry of a troublesome timeshare.
Whether you owe $10,000 to $250,000 on your timeshare, it's my mission to get you out of your timeshare, eliminate your payments, and get them off your back permanently. And we proudly hold an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau.
Want to learn more about getting rid of your troublesome timeshare? Call Wesley Financial Group now for your free consultation. Call 800-691-9999. That's 800-691-9999. 800-691-9999.
AM 560, The Answer.
Did you notice our producer Quinn is dressed up like Bagger Vance? It's because I'm having him caddy for me when we play at Medina this morning. 10:30, be there.
I can't, I mean.
You're playing.
You don't understand. I haven't played golf since we played golf in Mexico.
No excuses. 10:30.
Okay, thanks.
First tee, it's number 2 course, Medina. Be there.
Thanks for making us part of your morning. Thanks to Justin Kosick, our technical producer, and Bagger Vance, a.k.a. Quinn McCarthy. We're back here bright and early tomorrow morning at 5 a.m. with all of the news, and there's lots of it. And now here's more. Here's Mike Scott.
At least it's not number 3 this morning for you. Best of luck. Bernie Sanders rallies with the CTU. Federal agents raid the offices, and Chicago home of state